got it, and it's in for a touchdown. That is. Goes back inside, and he's away. What a return!
Two of my guys out for the coin toss.
Yep.
Big Thompson Winnig and Conor Nicholson.
So we've got the coin toss in the middle here. Just a few minutes away from this game here live on Gridiron TV. And it's Great Britain that have won the toss.
Deferred.
And they will be kicking off first. So we'll see the Great Britain Lions kicking off to the Dutch Lions for the first play of the game. Guys, do you have any score predictions?
Hopefully, Great Britain by probably 7. It's going to be tight.
I can't really predict this because I've never seen the Dutch play, so I'll just go patriotic and go 35-0 Great Britain.
I'm quite lucky through the football university stuff we did. I was lucky enough to go through Holland and get to meet a lot of the kids through the trials, and there's some there that I've coached, like Yorick, the fullback, was part of our team. His younger brother, I think, is one of the offensive linemen as well. So yeah, it's going to be very, very tough. It's going to be very tough. I think it'll be a close game.
It will be a close game. It'll be an exciting game here. And it's the Lions have got 3 men back to receive.
27's the boy, I've been told.
Really?
27 at the back's the boy.
On to 27 is Sean Richards, and he's joined on his left side by Andy Endevel, and on his right by number 80 Danielson Radwijk. So 3 men deep back to receive this kick.
Here's Jack Robinson, who will kick off for Great Britain. And the wind, of course, causing the problem. It's probably going to be someone having to hold it for the kickoff.
It is a very blustery wind here in Gateshead, which could affect the passing game later on. We'll see how the teams prepare themselves for that.
Jack Robinson to kick.
And so in this international match between Great Britain and the Netherlands, we are now underway. It is Richard to receive.
And it's swamped there straight away. It's a great tackle from number 95. That is Leo Chuck.
So Leo Chuck with the first tackle of the game. And the Dutch Lions with a short pick up there. They're going to take over just outside their own 20.
Led by Jasper Mulder at quarterback. High formation to start this game from Holland.
So it's Mulder with the inside
Fumble!
which is fumbled.
And Great Britain have picked it up. That is number 56 there, Cadel King.
Yeah, he's one of our guys as well. In fact, he almost won us the game at Wiesbaden last week with a similar play. So he seems to have a knack of coming up with the ball at the right time.
And that is a brilliant start for Great Britain, getting the ball straight away. And it'll be Tom Reed to lead out his team at quarterback, and great field position inside the 20. That's not what you want if you're the Dutch to start with.
It was a disaster of a start, but this is an ideal opportunity for Great Britain to pounce quickly and get on the scoreboard.
It looks
interesting to see how the Dutch cope with a no-huddle system from Great Britain. International level, it's not often you'll see this. It's certainly at this level of junior football.
It is Tom Clancy actually at quarterback. Hand off to Nick Whitehead, but he's tackled in the backfield. But there's a flag on the play. As we wait for the penalty.
And that is a penalty against Netherlands, so that's another gain for Great Britain. That's going to push them even closer to this end zone.
So it'll be 1st and 5 from the 15. And a chance to get an early touchdown to put GB up.
Right.
Interesting to see how the Dutch are trying to play the trips on this side of the field, on the left-hand side of the field. Seems to be a little bit of confusion between 87 and 31 at the moment.
It's another run to Nick Whitehead. Only nearly fumbled it there. That's a great tackle. But nearly another fumble. Is that a bit of game nerves in your first international for some of these guys? A little bit nerves, bobbling the ball from both sides.
Quite possibly, getting used to each other. They've had some time training, but you do need to get that connection, especially between quarterback and running back. That was Jens Edema on the tackle.
As Dwight Kolker checks into the backfield for GB. It's going to be a pass. He's got a guy open in the corner. And it's over the head there of Chris Wedderburn.
Chris is an interesting guy. He came to us from sort of Birmingham area. He spent the last 2 years out in Canada playing Canadian football. Great player, great athlete, suffering a bit at the moment with a shoulder injury, but he's got unbelievable potential. I know that Wayne Hill in Birmingham is a big fan of his as well, and I think he was on the IMG development team for the All-World team as well.
As it's 3rd and 5 here, Clancy takes the snap, looks right, throws right, and it's into the ground, and it'll be 4th down.
The pressure there from the Dutch, Tim Bredek on the end there, disrupting the play.
And the offense is staying on the field, so they're going to go for it.
It'd be good to see them go back to trips now on this one. The Dutch didn't quite know how to line up against trips a couple of minutes ago.
So they've already taken one shot at the end zone. Let's see if they'll go here now, through the air.
The running back is lined up in front of the quarterback, so it will be a pass. Quick pass over the middle. Oh, and that is nearly a spectacular grab from Jack Robinson, but he couldn't bring in the one-handed catch, and it'll be a turnover on downs.
So a positive start there from Great Britain, but comes to nothing so far, so it'll be Dutch ball once again.
And the Dutch will be looking to do better than they did on their first play, and keep a hold of the snap here.
Okay, so it's Mulder in a quarterback again.
Still in I formation. Hand off. That is a good tackle there by Will Crawford.
So good pick up of a couple there.
There's not much we see of this I formation. We don't see that much in the British game nowadays. It's gone a lot to the pistol at the top end of the game. So it's good to see teams still playing the I form.
I think the Dutch with York and number 14, they've got something of a weapon with him, and he's just, again, lucky enough to have coached him at Team Europe. He's a phenomenal athlete for a big guy, and just seen there, he can block people
Fumble
completely to the ground.
Oh, another fumble here. Looks like Great Britain might have this one. Wait and see who comes up with it, and it is. It's Great British football once again.
Isaac Marshall picking up the fumble. Will Crawford again with a tackle, and another chance here. Great Britain have got to take one of these chances though.
That was Sean Richard on the carry. I'm sure his coaches will pull him to one side, see everything's okay with him. But yeah, like you said, once again, Great Britain inside the red zone, and this is going to give them a great deal of confidence early on. A chance to get more points on the board.
Watch out for Jack Robinson here. He's kind of lined up on his own there. And it's a run to the right. QB keeper. Even I got fooled on that one. That was Tom Clancy with the carry.
Tom's our quarterback obviously at the point as well. He's very, very good at deception with his zone read plays. He's mastered the art of making you think the ball's going to a running back, pulling out last second run of it himself. They definitely had the edge there. Like you said, the linebacker was manned up with, is it Jack Robinson, 45, so that would be the side of the field that I'd look to attack now if I was them.
Oh, and he wasn't expecting that ball. and he gets back onto it, but that is a huge loss for Great Britain. He wasn't expecting the ball. There's a flag on the play, so maybe it was an offside, and you know what centres do when it's offside, just snap it.
Yeah, try and get the smart play to take advantage of that, but he definitely wasn't expecting that one.
And they're moving up the field, so
looking at the way the Dutch corners are lining up on our receivers at the moment, a good tactic for Great Britain might be to try and test them deep early on. Take one step drop with the quarterback, try and get something over the top. If the receivers are good enough to defeat the press, then the free safety in the middle of the field, 31, just isn't going to get left or right quick enough. Certainly if they're aiming towards is the number 80, Jack Verling over on the left.
As it will be third and forever, as they say in the NFL. Clancy takes the snap. It's going to be a pass to the left. And that is out of bounds.
Good catch, but out of bounds. Like you said, they did try and test them there, but tight coverage on that side.
And there's another flag on the play.
So, as I said at the beginning of the game, we're very lucky, and we've got a lot of the guys here from our club, and I do know quite a lot of the guys personally. Jack Burling, was that Jack over on the left, or just coming off the pitch now? He's one of the many guys who've been lucky enough to get from Hampshire Thrashers over the years, and I've got to say their parents are so supportive. Here in force again today, Tom Simone, Chris Vasilchu, Jack Burling's dad's here. Will Crowfoot, you mentioned earlier, with the tackle and the fumble as well. Their parents are fantastic, follow them everywhere.
And it will be third and a little less than forever now, as that was a 5-yard penalty for offside.
Chris Wedderburn in the slot should be open here.
Clancy looking. It's another flag on the play, it's deep, and that's well defended there by number 20.
Good coverage, that's Dion Ettman on the coverage, but a flag down at the line of scrimmage and also at the play there. So,
but it was good to see Carlos Tarragona going back to the ball. He knew he wasn't going to catch it, so he made sure the defender didn't catch it. Yeah. And that's one of the key things you look for in wide receivers these days.
It's a good smart play to not give up possession that way.
There's 2 flags on the play even.
I think you find the great thing about youth football, the junior football in this country, is that the players do get to play both sides of the football. So as you said, when the ball is in the air and he finds himself in a defensive position, he's probably been taught to play cornerback as well, so his instincts naturally kick in, which is great for our sport in general moving forward. These kids have gotten better all-round knowledge of the game.
Yeah, that's always found that to be useful to understand both sides of the football.
Again here, if Great Britain is smart, they want to look at the matchups they've got on the slot receivers. They're in man coverage at the moment. Holland, the matchup on Chris Wedderburn, 87 in the slot and 45 in the slot, both favour Great Britain.
Motion. And that's a good play. There's another flag.
Down to the end zone.
That is Chris Wedderburn is out at the 1, but there is a flag on the play on the far sideline.
So nice play there from the Lions. Catching the Dutch on the back foot down to the 1-yard line. Let's see if this play will stand or not.
Guessing as the flag was thrown in the backfield, it's probably on the offense.
And the Great Britain are going backwards.
Yeah. And they're going backwards once more. It's a full stop penalty against the Lions, so that play won't count. And they've got an extra 5 yards to work through now.
Which has been really disappointing so far, is all these penalties. It's probably some nerves again.
I think it's bound to be expected as well. I mean, the kind of background to the backdrop to the game, obviously, you know, it's delayed with the kickoff. A lot of these kids have got literally straight off the bus and straight into the game. It's almost like Great Britain are the away team today, with Holland staying overnight and being prepared. Yeah. You know, early on it's going to be a little bit sloppy. I think if the kids can get through this early part of the game, they look to have the beating of Holland here. So
it's still third down and back to forever. It'll be Clancy taking the snap, and he's looking left, and that is a drop there from Jack Verling.
It's great to see a Great Britain team have so much faith in the passing game. I mean, too often in junior football in this country and in most countries, to be honest, you see them line up in like you said, I formations, wing formations, run the football. Our game's only going to get better. We're only going to get better at the top level if we have faith in our quarterbacks, let them develop. and let them pass the football. It's not going to be successful every play, but ultimately we'll be a better country for that in the long run.
And they're going for it on 4th and about 30. Clancy's looking deep. He's going to run. That's a good. And he's got away. And he throws it. Oh, and that was a great play. Unfortunately, Jack Robinson with a drop, but Clancy's showing his skills there, showing his evasiveness, and getting the throw away.
Indeed, good footwork to get out of that. Spin out of 2 tackles. Made a good throw, just unfortunately went through the hands of the receiver. So that'll be a turnover. It's back to Dutch football. Let's see if they can hold on to this one this time. As you may be able to hear in the background, the wind's really starting to pick up, so that's certainly going to change their plans regarding passing, although the wind is to the back of the Dutch, which could help here.
It's interesting to see both teams at the moment really challenge the opposing offenses, manning up on their receivers and challenging them to pass the football in these conditions. And the Dutch are doing it to start with, and certainly GB look like they're doing it as well.
Yeah.
And that is Will Crowfoot again with the tackle. He's had a good start to this game.
Yeah, handoff was to Andy Endval for a gain of around 2 yards.
As the wind calms for a second.
So here we go, 2nd down.
It's going to be a pass.
I'm not quite sure what the flag was on that play. It was Chris Vasilchew getting free at defensive end. Again, he's one of the Hampshire Thrasher kids that we picked up at the Pride. He's very young actually. He's only 17. He obviously 6'6". He looks like a monster. Bit of a gentle giant with us. Recently, really coming into his own. Forcing his way in the starting lineup this year.
And it's a personal foul penalty, so it'll be 15 yards and an automatic first down. QBs get protection. We see it in the NFL all the time, and it filters through to all levels of the game.
It does, but there has to be a balance between allowing the defence to apply that pressure. And if a quarterback's going to take too long in the pocket, there needs to be some sort of punishment if the ends and the linebackers are going to get to them.
And we say that speaking as quarterbacks, so we know how it feels to stand in that pocket when it's closing in on you.
Indeed.
I think the Dutch junior Lions have put out quite a young offensive line there. I know the 66, I think, is Yart's younger brother. Who I've been told is young, is sort of 16, so they look like they're quite young across the board there.
Hand off.
So it'll only do them good in the long
That's
run.
a good block on the outside, and he's got away. And that's a good saving tackle.
Another great run by Endval there, around the right side.
And there's a flag on the player down the field.
So in the meantime, we'll give a couple of mentions. Hello to, I shout out to Matt Williams, who's down there playing for GB. That's from Andy McMillan. So glad you're joining us here on the broadcast, and then also to Matt McCallum. So a lot of people watching here who couldn't make it, parents and so on, who are now watching at home, and we're really glad to be bringing you this game today.
The flag was on the Dutch, a holding penalty down the field, I do believe, so it'll still be 1st and 10, it looks like from here. As it was a downfield block, it goes from the penalty rather than from where the ball started, so it'll still be 1st and 10. As here we go, I formation. And it's a fumble again. Great Britain jump on it.
And it's Cadell again, Cadell King.
Yep, that is Cadell King once more making the play on defence, and Great Britain get the ball.
He's got a real knack for finding the ball.
And it'll be Great Britain with the ball again. This has been a great defensive display from the Lions, who, as you say, turned up with very little time to prepare, and they've gone out there and performed.
I think it's always easier from a defensive standpoint to get you guys together. If they're an all-star national team, I think it's easy to get a defense working together, because a 4-3 is a 4-3, a 3-4 is a 3-4. Whereas offensively, obviously, they've got to learn the new plays. Every offensive coordinator has their own sort of wrinkles on the game.
New quarterback out there, Tom Reed, and a new running back there with Tunde Akindele. And it's Akindele with a carry, and he's carrying players with him.
Tunde's another Hampshire Thrasher kid. I mean, they've got a phenomenal representation here today at Great Britain.
And that was a lot of contact for a 1 yard carry, but you saw him push the pile, and that's what you want to see in your young running backs, pushing the pile, getting those extra 2-3 yards that can win you the game.
And Tunde's a senior with us at the Pride. He's probably the toughest inside runner I've seen in probably 10 years of coaching the sport at this level. Phenomenal athlete, really, really good kid.
As Tom Reed is in the pistol once more, he's going to pass to his left, and there's an open man there.
It's Jack Burling again.
And that's what you look for in this type of defence they're playing. You can see there's the open on the outside. If you get those slants going, they'll creep inside, and then you've got the bomb down the outside.
This way the man coverage, I think, is going to come back to hurt Holland if they stay with it and they try and zone up in the defence. They've left too big a gaps inside.
As GB's quickly to the line, and that was a great throw there by Tom Reed.
And again, 87's almost ignoring our 87 down here. Chris Wedderburn, he's too good to ignore like that. They would have looked to corner right Chris at this point, run some kind of smash concept down here. I think Wedderburn could find himself wide open.
And he's looking to throw it to his left again, and he has an open receiver. That is number 12, Alex Ajuan. And it will be a 2-3 yard game.
And that's back-to-back tackles by Dwayne Oosterveld.
I believe Alex is from the London Blitz. Again, another team with a massive representation here at Great Britain.
Yeah, the Blitz have a great development programme down there, and it's what's kept them in the hunt for national champions year on year, the development through. And didn't look at the snap again, and he's down for another 10-yard loss, and that's got to be worrying, that type of snap that goes over. The quarterback doesn't seem to be looking at it.
For the second time in a row, like you said, two different quarterbacks, same problem. They both seem to be looking elsewhere as the ball is snapped. I don't know whether, with the wind whistling around when you're down in 3-point stance, sometimes you're not hearing things properly. If the QB's got his gum shield in, isn't pronouncing his words clearly, anything can sound like a hut, especially when you're nervous, like you said.
Yes, and it'll be 3rd and 15 now for the GB Lions, as the sound is loud from the Dutch sideline. Clancy drops back, he looks left again, and he's open once more, Verling, and he gets back some of that yardage.
I think that's every third down now. They've looked to blitz their middle linebacker. They've run a stunt inside, blitz their middle linebacker on, and they're really challenging Great Britain's pass protection. Seems to be holding up pretty well at the moment. Certainly the interior three are doing a great job. It'd be interesting to see what they do on 4th down where they employ the same tactic. 47 does blitz a lot for them. They seem to be very confident. 46 just behind him to cover the slot receivers one-on-one. And
it looks like there could be a blitz from my side. No, he's dropping back, and it's a throw at the right. Oh, and he just overthrew him there. The route was open there for number 85, Carlos Tarragona, but he just threw it over a bit too high, and the Dutch will take over again, and it's still 0-0 despite the Dutch giving up 3 turnovers. And they've got to be happy with that in some way.
I think you would be. I mean, he is the head coach, is the defensive coordinator, the whole kind of bend but don't break kind of attitude on defense. They've given up some yardage, they've given up some plays, but ultimately when it's come down to it on 4th down near the end zone, they've always held true. So.
And that's a new quarterback in for the Dutch. Still I formation handoff, and that's a good tackle by number 90 on the defensive line, Matt McCallum.
End of L on the carry on the inside there.
I think Matt McCallum's from just north of here with the Longhorns, I believe, and another very, very solid junior program in British football.
It's great to see these youth programs developing a lot of talent for the GB, and hopefully more little programs can get up and going across the country.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I've stated more than once about how many guys we've got here, but ultimately we handpick our guys from other teams around the country, which is why I said, you know, there's a lot here from Hampshire Thrashers, from our team. We've got kids from up north, over the border in Scotland. It's a really, really good mix, and that was one of the things that impressed me most about GB when they're with us is, despite all the differences, all the different teams they come from, they really gelled quickly at the camp. I think a great tactic for GB, and something which helped them a lot, was getting the kids up early on the second day of camp. Kids hate it, but it brings them together as a team. any kind of adversity you can throw at them early on really helps.
And that was a good carry by the quarterback there for Dutch. Great play fake, sold the linebacker, and he had the room on the outside to get to 2nd and 5 after a holding penalty on first down.
And I think Great Britain have got into the swing now, just following the fullback to the ball. And I think when you do that and you sell out on that, that's when that bootleg from the quarterback can really hurt you.
And he does look athletic. He does look like he can get some yards on the outside. We saw his speed. He nearly broke it down the sideline. His foot stepped out of bounds. And we'll see what he can do on 2nd and 6. Hand off up the middle. And that's a good tackle there from the number 52 linebacker Oliver Campbell.
And it's definitely worth a mention. This Great Britain coaching staff, I mean, I had the pleasure of watching them work in Bristol, and they're just incredibly enthusiastic with the kids. They put sane fundamentals in them, they put sane schemes in place, and to see how professional they were at all times, you can see them there today as well. Then every time their unit comes off the field, they're getting them together, they're talking to them, they're correcting mistakes, they're putting them in the best possible position to succeed, and that's what you want from your coaching staff. And it'll be interesting to see if Great Britain can't punch it in next time we get the football, how the team starts to respond to that, because they'll start to feel a little bit worried, and are we ever going to get this ball in the end zone if it continues that way?
Yeah, it does apply that psychological pressure, all the build up to that first score, but the difference it makes when you get that first score on the board is incredible as a player, especially on the offensive side. It relaxes you to no end, especially if you've had opportunities and you've dropped a catch or you've fumbled a ball and then you can convert. It just takes the weight off you.
Yeah, every time you're going down the field, of course you want to score, but early in the game it just gets that confidence in you. You'll make throws that otherwise you just go, oh, I threw it there earlier and I missed, I don't want to throw it again. Whereas if you hit that pass and it goes for a touchdown, you go, yeah, I can throw it there, I can throw it all over. And especially the quarterback, it gives them a lot, but the wide receivers, pass blocking as well. If you can protect your quarterback early in the game, you just think, yeah, we've got something going here. And
I don't know about you guys, but I just get the feeling that if Great Britain were to get over that goal line, that it would probably open the floodgates to that point. I think Holland are kind of hanging on defensively a little bit.
As it'll be 3rd and inches, and it's QB sneak straight up the middle, and there was no one over the centre, and
I honestly can't believe the defense wasn't ready for that. I mean, 3rd and inches for my formation, QB's under centre. You've got to be thinking sneak.
And there was a flag on the play, but as you say, you've got to think sneak. I know one of the plays I used to have in my Huddersfield playbook was, if there's no one over the middle, you just take it for 5-yard gain.
It's commonplace in most offensive playbooks. I think the tap under centre, just let the guy know that, yeah, we're following you, we're going straight at the middle, and we're not an under centre team. We tend to play in the gun. We have a very, very big offensive line that we can put a lot of trust in. So when we tend to get kind of 3rd in the yard, we feel like we can do it from gun, but in these type of games against these type of oppositions, I understand that that's the best place to be under centre, windy conditions. I think that's why Great Britain may be struggling a little bit with the snaps as well. I think if the rain was to start as well, you may see Great Britain go under centre.
Exactly, and under centre is where I've played most of my football, and it looks like the Dutch team are used to playing under centre, and of course that's as you say, that's a staple book play, straight up the middle for 2-3 yards. It can even go for touchdowns. I've seen it happen before. The defence isn't expecting it. Straight up the middle, touchdown. As the ball.
In fact, with Great Britain, they've even got a nose tackle in the play, playing a 3-4 defence. So I'm not quite sure what was going on in that play. Maybe got double teamed out of the way.
And the QB keeper to the right again.
He's got to be more aggressive.
Oh, and that could be a horse collar.
Good open field tackle, but he's got to be more aggressive. He's got to get upfield and make that tackle for a loss. He was shuffling sideways with the quarterback there. He's got to knife up and actually get after the quarterback.
That was Cadel King, I believe, with a tackle. And the Dutch are deep in GB territory, and with all the possession GB have had in the opposing territory, it'll be a bit of kick in the teeth if Dutch going to score here.
And that's where this coaching staff will really kind of earn their money here today. There's going to be adversity. Like I said, GB are almost like the away team today, with the team turning up too late and having to kind of run out onto the field and go straight into the game. So it was going to be tough early. I think the Dutch have been helped a lot here with penalties and just switching off a little bit from Great Britain. I don't think their staple plays are good enough to beat Great Britain. They're going to have to do something different.
As we'll see, they're now 3rd and 4 after that run up the middle by Jack Shreves, I believe it was, number 47. And
it's interesting to see Great Britain now on the sideline getting a ton of snap practice. Obviously they see it as an issue as well. The centre's getting a lot of reps with the quarterback.
And it will be 3rd and 4th, as we say, under the centre. Hand off to number 14. And it's going to be close by looking at the official.
As I said before, York was actually an offensive lineman for us. He's lost a lot of weight. Very, very powerful guy.
That's what you want in a fullback. Although the fullback has gone a little bit from the UK game at the top level with all this pistol offense.
Yeah.
But it's always good to see that little handoff off the middle. Give it to the fullback, he'll get you the yards.
You see the Lions now driving now. They're starting to get some momentum and some consistency on offense.
Be first down now.
It's Roddy Vink in at quarterback here.
And it's a toss to Jack Shreves, but it's fumbled. And Great Britain pick it up. That is a crucial stop.
I can't understand at all what Holland are thinking pitching the ball. I really can't. When you're driving the ball like that with little dives, callback, keepers, to try and pitch the ball at that point, it's clearly a mistake.
Especially there with Isaac Marshall getting the ball on the fumble, and as you say, with the wind, why would you pitch it when it's much safer to hand it off?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know whether it was supposed to be a reverse pivot then from the QB, turn the wrong way at the centre, whether he was supposed to be a handoff and realised at the last second that he'd come the wrong way from centre, so I had to pitch the ball, but it's certainly a let-off pick for Great Britain.
That's a 4th turnover in the first quarter from the Dutch Lions, as Tom Clancy will hand off, and it's a good run there up the middle.
Again, Great Britain have been dared to do something with their slot receivers here. They need to test Holland to see if they can cover these slot receivers to the corners at some point. Possibly, I can understand why they're not doing it in this quarter. With the wind straight at them, the ball's going to hang up a little bit. But both the quarterbacks actually have come out and proved they can throw into the wind. So 45 on a corner right in the open side of the field here would definitely be worth a try.
And it's another Dwight Colker handoff up the middle, and it will be 3rd and 7 here for the GB Lions in their own territory.
So we'll give a couple of shout outs to people watching. Coach Tony Abersmith is watching, so good to see him watching. Thanks for joining us, Coach. And also another coach, Anthony McAllister, looking for a shout out for Jack Robinson. He's coach watching his guy back at home.
Jack Robinson is the slot receiver on the right. He's the kicker. He kicked off as well. It'll be 3rd and 7. Trips right.
As we said, we get a lot of people who've got a few bad things to say about British football. But
it's an interception.
And this is going to go all the way to the end.
And that is...
And it does look like a Dutch kid's down as well at the far end of the play.
Yeah, it was a big block trying to get the tackle from GB there, but it's Jack Shreves, I believe, with the interception.
We'll just get confirmation of
a little bit underthrown
number there.
I thought it was 47.
But yeah, a big play from Holland nonetheless. Really shifting the momentum and getting the first score on the board as well.
It's just saying as well that a lot of people do have some bad things to say about British junior football, and I know that a lot of teams out there are struggling to get enough players for their teams, and it is tough. It's hard to get good players away from rugby and away from football, especially on a weekend when they've got so many other commitments and schoolwork and everything else. But the fact that you've got a kid that can kick off and he's one of the best receivers in the country, and you've got other kids that, like we said earlier, almost can turn into an international corner when a pass is thrown up, it's underthrown on them. It shows what a great job all the coaches out there are doing at junior level, and I think they deserve a massive pat on the back when teams like this come together. It's just, it's great to see that there's people out there putting the effort in voluntarily on the Sundays and coaching these kids to such a high level.
I'll have to give a shout out to Coach Ben Johnson and Coach Jonathan Rooney, as they taught my coaching course a couple weeks ago, and I got my level 1 from them. And they're great guys, and they put a lot of effort into Great British Lions, and they travelled abroad obviously for the latest tour. And as there's an injury on the player for the Dutch Lions, but
seemed to be on a block at the end of the play.
Yeah.
Yep, right down at the line. So hopefully he's okay.
And then this, like I said before, this was always going to be the tough thing. If Holland got a quick score when Great Britain had all the momentum, are you going to then see their heads drop? Are they going to start to fall apart at the seams, or are they really going to pull together now? Sometimes it can work in your favour if you give up a cheap score. It tends to motivate people. They stop mucking around. They stop waiting for somebody else to make the play. They go out there a little bit more determined and try and make it happen themselves. And I think that's what Great Britain need now. Is they need someone to kind of take responsibility, take the game upon themselves, and just really go out and try and make some plays. It'd be nice to see them, as much as I'm enjoying watching them try to pass the football when they're playing into the wind like this. Maybe it might be a little bit more sensible. Let them try and establish the run a bit more. Maybe repeat what the Dutch Lions have done, just keep it a little bit safer. Certainly in their own half against the wind, where it is likely to sort of hang up a little bit.
Yeah, you really need your leaders here, your senior guys, the guys that are about to graduate from the team, to step up and do exactly what you said there, to just talk to the young guys, keep them relaxed, keep them focused, and just remind them that there's a lot of time left in the game. So you just need to be sensible, relax, just keep your game going, and then take your opportunities later on as they come.
And speaking of Damien in Bristol, the head coach of the GB team, something he's really keen to do is to start to build a team that can take Great Britain forward in the championships. And I know he's picked a lot of young kids here today, and he has got some seniors on the team that you need to be competitive at this level. But picking so many young kids means that hopefully, if the nucleus of this team can stay together, we'll start to overcome some adversity today. It's something that they'll remember, something they'll take forward into tournaments. And Great Britain haven't been lucky enough to go to tournaments for a little while now, and part of being good at tournaments is being able to stick together as a team, being able to get through the tough times, and that's something that this young team, if they can get through this, will really move forward with.
As the injury looks to be a serious one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not ideal to have something like this.
Let's hope it's precautionary. I mean, anytime there's any injury to the head or neck, out of precaution, the St John's ambulance or whoever it is that's doing the medical care today will automatically bring the spinal board out, as they should do. Let's just hope it's precautionary. He's moving his arms, he's moving his feet, so I'd hope he's okay.
As the ambulance men take care of it. Points off turnovers, though. I mean, Great Britain have had 4 turnovers, no points. 1 turnover for the Dutch. Take it in the end zone. That's a bit of game experience, because they've played 11 games together, the Dutch, whereas Great Britain are still in the early stages of development.
And part of that, I mean, I've been a big supporter of the Dutch programme for a long time and what they do. I think it's great, as you said, they've played so many games, they get that experience. They understand how to play these tight games early, which is good. Great Britain have got to get to that point. Where the Dutch benefit over us, obviously, is they can jump on a train and play an opposition in an hour and a half, because they can just travel to other countries very easily in Holland. Obviously, being an island, it's a lot tougher for us, and we travel abroad and play in Germany each year a couple of times with the Pride, and I know the cost of taking a team abroad is extortionate. So we could be doing a lot more for the Great Britain programme, but we already charge these kids a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think the national governing body does a great job of keeping it cost effective for them. And like I said, putting on a venue like this last minute today is testament to them.
Whilst we're waiting, we'll give a couple mentions here. Wayne Hill, Coach Wayne Hill.
Great guy, yeah.
Yeah, great guy. He's watching here, rooting for his local guys. He's also back from his first junior practice, so we've seen the Lions University now pairing up with a junior squad there, which is a nice partnership.
Brilliant, yeah. I mean, I can imagine they're going to be a tough team like the Lions. The Lions University team is to beat in the next couple of years, and it makes perfect sense, really, when you think about it from a university standpoint, is that they can start to control the players they recruit in. It would act very much like a junior varsity team at high school would to them. And I can almost guarantee that over the next couple of years, you'll have a large proportion of the team here taking part as well. And as I said, Chris Wedderburn's, I'm not sure what Chris Wedderburn had to do with his program, but I know that it was a personal recommendation from Coach Wayne Hill that I took a look at him, and he wasn't wrong. I mean, Chris Wedderburn's a great player.
That's what will get the game growing in the country, is getting these youth programs for all the teams, and that's what the the league has brought in is it's starting to become one of the requirements for a new team is to get a youth development program in, and it's great to see.
Absolutely, it needs to be like that. And Wayne, needs a massive pat on the back, and so does that whole Midland staff and the Birmingham Lions. I mean, they started the Tamworth Phoenix up a few years back, who have grown into a dominant force. Have always held a junior program in the league as well. Now the Birmingham Lions as well. Midlands is going to be one of the places to be of American football.
As the extra point is good, and it's 7-0 to the Dutch Lions. And we'll get to see the kick return team of GB in a moment.
Interesting to see the different body types with 2 teams for 8 for kickoff. Holland here have obviously gone for speed over size. It looked like Great Britain put most of their linebackers on kickoff, whereas Holland here seem to put like a lot of defensive backs, a lot of wide receiver types, few running backs. If Great Britain can get a few blocks here at the middle, it might be a good return.
Different strategies on the kickoffs, and we have back deep for Great Britain. We have number 3 Bradley Lewis and number 87.
And Bradley Lewis from I played youth football up in Nottingham. He's an absolute speedster. Again, with us with FBU Team Europe, who's one of our players. Him and Chris Wedderburn are back together. They've both got an awful lot of speed.
And as we see a different system on kick return as well, as they had the Dutch had a 3-back system deep. Britain just going with a 2. As the kick-off is away, it'll be Wedderburn who picks it up to run down the right-hand side, and he looks like he's got a head of steam, and he nearly broke away there, nearly got through the line, and he would have been away there.
I think, like I said, if Great Britain, they definitely hold the weight advantage on special teams at the moment, and a couple of good blocks on the lighter body types. As much as they're getting down the field quick, a couple of easy blocks, just pushing them out of the lanes, creates massive running room for Great Britain.
As we reach the end of the quarter,
I think Great Britain made a change on the offensive line now, it looks like, as well. I think that's big Conor McPherson coming out on the offensive line. I don't think I saw him in the first drive.
Yep, number 70 out there, Conor McPherson. And second quarter, a thing about one of these games as well is to get everyone a game as well. Everyone's come up for the day. Everyone will get their snaps, and that's what's great to see about a game like this.
Well, I think Coach Dame has come out with absolutely the right attitude, which is let's get this team ready for champion, for competition football. This is a friendly game, as you said. It's a young team. Get them more reps. Get them more competitive football. I know a lot of guys. It seems to be commonplace that a lot of guys will get their younger players development time at the end of the game when there's nothing online anymore. Whereas I think it's a lot better to get them into the game early. Get them when there's something to play for, when you can see if they can actually play at the level or not. And Connor's played at a decent level already. He's playing against American high schools on a regular basis. He's as you can see, he's a big guy. I think the confidence that I give him getting into the game early would be good. It'll help short that middle a little bit as well.
As that was Tom Reed on the rollout with a pass downfield with 2 defenders there, and there is a flag on the play. I think it's pass interference, and it'll be 15 yards for Great Britain, who are now passing into the wind.
I've just been passed a shout out to myself and the Bristol Pride guys and Coach, obviously, from Arnold, who's one of our former players, a linebacker for us. Probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, actually, a great kid. And is now at the Stirling University with Coach Rob Orr, who's coaching running backs here today.
And it'll be pistol once more for Great Britain. And it's a straight run up the middle, and that's a good read by the quarterback. He did take a hit there, but he's got the first down. And that was a great run from Tom Reed there.
And perfect play calling from Great Britain, timed out to perfection. The defensive ends were starting to rush hard to the outside. The 2 defensive tackles were starting to pinch inside a little bit. And due to formation, lining up the 4 wide receivers, it spreads them to only having 2 linebackers in the middle. You can get a block on one of those guys, run your running back or quarterback at the middle. It's a big game to be had.
And Tom Reed back in the pistol.
And I think this is where we need to look. Again, there's confusion as to who picks up the trip receiver. Took a little bit of a long time getting the play off. But I think that's something Great Britain have spotted and will keep coming back to.
And there's a timeout, I believe, for Great Britain. It seemed he pointed towards Great Britain.
Yep. So timeout here. We've got a short break in the game, but keep your messages coming in. Let us know what you think of this game. We've got a lot of guys actually who are trying to tune in whilst getting ready for Wembley tomorrow. So some of the lucky folk down in London already, going through all the fan rally stuff and the VIP stuff. So hopefully they're not enjoying themselves too much.
As a Niners fan, I'm a little gutted. I'm not going to be there in person tomorrow myself.
Okay.
As we get underway again here, Reed in the pistol, hand off up the middle, and that's a good carry. It looks like a first down there for number 44 Dwight Cocker.
I don't know how many guys at home have picked this up, but and how technical you guys want me to get with the game. If you notice the Great Britain attack, whilst they're running the zone read running play, it looks more like they're not looking for the QB to run off the backside of it. They're actually running a bubble off the right hand side as we're looking at with the slot receiver. So it looks like, certainly if we go to the wide side of the field with one of those runs in a minute, you may see the QB pull the ball out last second, which will look a little bit like a play action pass, and hit the bubble into the flats. The Dutch, they're trying to get the Dutch linebacker that's covering the slot receiver to bite on the run. But I think what they need to do probably is run the run play at that linebacker as opposed to away from him. Which they're doing at the moment. So make it a front side read instead of a backside read.
That's a great point, because on the outside it's just one-on-one other than the second slot guy, and he's got a chance. All he has to do is beat the safety if the block is made on the outside, and he's got a big gain.
The tackles seem to be doing a great job on the defensive end, certainly in the running game. We're not getting much of a push, but they're not penetrating much inside to break up the plays.
So slight break in here. So we've got Jens Heidema, who's a little bit slow to get up. Looks like a back injury somewhat, but he's walking off, so he's looking not too bad.
But it's crucial Great Britain get some points on the board here. The positions they've been in so far, they need to get back on level terms.
I think this is a great matchup again with Jack Burling out here on the left, number 80 for Great Britain. He's got inside leverage in man coverage here.
That's a cracking tackle there from the Dutch linebacker. I believe it's number 47 again, that man.
Good. Jack Shearer's the guy we spoke to pre-game. He's in his last game for his country, so he's really fired up for today.
And he actually reminds me a lot of Remy Sapp, the guy he spoke to pre-game. Very similar type of player. Sort of a short, stout linebacker type who's really got a nose for the ball.
And it could be a look for that play you talked about earlier.
I think going to the wide side of the field, maybe looking to hit 82. They've got the space, they've got the matchup. If you look at the guy covering him, his eyes are straight into the backfield at the running back.
And it will be a pass straight back. He's got a slant down the middle, and he's got it. And it's in for a touchdown. That is number 85, Carlos Tarragona.
And that's the guy you said earlier made the great play coming back for the ball. So I think that's good for him. He's come back and broken up a play earlier on where he had a shot, beating his coverage into the back corner of the end zone, but they kept with him and got back to him again.
It's that play slant. It was a post route, I do believe, and getting in between that safety and that cornerback, especially when there's only one safety deep, you can take that all day, and an extra point to level it from Jack Robinson.
And that's what we've been saying. The Dutch have been challenging them to pass on them. Really, they've said that the weather conditions are not great for passing. The winds, the wind isn't great. And early on it looked like the gambler paid off with the interception return for a touchdown. But I think if they stay in that man coverage, they're going to keep getting burned for these big plays, because once you've caught the ball, there really is nobody left to beat.
As that is, the extra point is good, and we're all tied at 7 here in the Lion Bowl. I've just announced it, the Lion Bowl.
We're branding the Lion Bowl here, and it's shaping up to exactly what we thought it'd be, a tight, exciting match. There's still a lot of football coming up here on Gridiron TV. We've got really a lot more to see from both teams. I think there's a lot more potential due to come out of both teams here. We saw them struggle early on with turnovers and just not clicking. Now both teams are on the scoreboard. They both seem a bit more relaxed. There's a bit more momentum in their drives here. There's a bit more balance in it as well. So I think there's more and more coming out of these players. They're just getting into the game now.
As we see this 3-man set return for the Dutch again. as you say, you look out there, competitive
There's a
sizes.
huge space inside there for an onside kick. I don't know if the guys at home are seeing this, but with the two front men either side of the hashes and the other guy so far back, why the kicker wouldn't just chip it 10 yards and fall on the ball. There's a huge space.
Especially where the GB Lions defence has been playing.
Exactly. I mean, take the gamble at this point. It's not even a gamble. Look how far apart they are. I think you've got to catch them unawares by doing that. I think you've got to break the huddle and almost run straight into a kick to do it.
They're running back to start with as well.
What a great kick though.
It is. And he's picked it up.
Picked up by Sean.
He's swinging the ball too much. It's going to be a fumble.
And a good tackle there from the GB Lions. That's number 90 there, making the tackle, Matt McCallum.
And you're right there, that ball's hanging out there as he's running, and he has fumbled it early on in the game, so this is something that the coaches need to keep an eye on, make sure it doesn't happen again in kick return or in open play. But we've got a flag down at the end of the play here, and we'll just wait and see what the referees call here.
It'd be interesting to see which quarterback the Dutch go with at this point, whether they go back to the guy that started the game or stay with the more mobile option.
The more mobile option does seem to be out there, and that was a face mask penalty on GB, so that's a free 15 yards for the Dutch Lions, and that puts them on halfway.
Yep, and the wind's really died down here right now, so it's almost still here, which will give them a great opportunity if they want to take advantage and throw deep early.
Let's see if they go back to a handoffs at the middle, or whether they try to pitch the ball a little bit more.
They're coming out in
they're running
trips
back
left.
up at wide receiver here at the moment, so
Looks like they're going to a pistol offence, just like GB. Trips left, and there's no one covering. There's only two covering three over there, so it could be a
again
bubble
there's
screen.
confusion with Trips on one side. Bradley Lewis here hasn't got out far enough to cover the middle receiver.
And the quick screen, good catch, but not much yardage there. If that was a bit quicker in, that play was open.
I think number 90 there for GB. I think he got caught watching the ball with his back turned. Wasn't quick enough downfield to make the play.
That was Matt McCallum.
And Gina Ripkin on the reception.
That's the first reception for the Dutch, I do believe. It's been mostly a running-based offence from them so far, but now they've come out in the pistol.
And the sun's come out.
Yep, wind's going down, sun's come out. We'll just keep it like this if you don't mind, please.
I think it will be in the eyes of the Dutch though moving forward, so the QB might have a bit of a tricky time looking downfield.
Yes, the sun is directly behind our vantage point, and it's a handoff there. It's a great tackle in the backfield. It is the number 5 there, Francis Bongwalaganga.
Another one of the blitz guys, I believe.
Yeah.
Phenomenal athlete.
Sorry if I
Phenomenal
pronounce your name wrong. I'm just reading it off a sheet. I'll try that again. Francis Bongwalanga.
I'm sure his friends will have a good laugh at home, even if you're getting it wrong, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Drop us a Facebook or a Twitter message.
If we pronounce any of the names wrong.
Marks out of 10 for anyone?
Yeah, try Christopher Sochi then for my guys. If you don't know how to say his name, you wouldn't guess it from how it's spelled. That's a cracking name.
And it'll be third down and 12 here.
Again, GB aren't really honouring the trips. The Dutch have been pulled offside here. They've just pulled two guys out playing a soft zone against it. With the wind the way it is, it's maybe the best tactic for the defence. I'm guessing they're going to be playing some kind of quarters coverage over here against the trips.
So it'll be third and 17 now as the Dutch Lions go back. And that's another thing we've seen today is quite a few penalties on both sides of the ball.
And something I've noticed early on is the Great Britain playbook and the Dutch playbook. They don't seem to flip their formation much. So if they're playing trips on one side of the ball, it seems to stay that side of the ball, whether that's the narrow side of the field or the wide side of the field. Obviously, if it's the narrow side of the field and you play trips, it opens up the one-on-one coverage with the other side of the field, gives that receiver more room to run into. If it's the wide side of the field when you're running trips, it gives the three players the trip side a bit more room to play with.
And again, it's trips right. And it's a pistol. He's going to run it up the middle on third and 17. But that is a good tackle there. Combination tackle from number 4, Will Crowfoot, and number 52, Oliver Campbell, and it'll be fourth down.
And I think Great Britain are playing this formation correctly. I don't think they're shifting too much. They're not overloading to the trip side, giving them much of a read on the backside. I mean, as an offensive coordinator, I mean, obviously you guys know a lot about the sport as well. You'll understand that what you're looking to do with the offense is much like a chess game. You're looking to give the defense lots of different looks to see how they react to you. If they overload, you want to go back to the other side where you've got the one-on-one matchups. If they don't overload and you've got the personnel matchups on the trip side and you outnumber them, that's the side you want to go to. And the Dutch almost seem a little bit confused by what Great Britain's defense are doing to them. They're just playing quarters over the trips and not shifting the defense over, not giving them any running room off the backside.
Well, confusion there, and the Dutch take the time out here. So short break in the play here from Gateshead. Keep your messages coming in, everyone. We hope you're enjoying the show so far. What are your thoughts on the teams? We've already discussed about how they've grown here, but is this going to be a high-scoring game, or is this going to be more of a battle, maybe one or two more scores left in the game?
I think, to be honest with you, with both teams obviously showing the signs of not having maybe practiced all together that much as a team, there's mistakes in the way both teams are lining up a little bit. So I can see there being more scores. I think there's going to be more scores due to blown coverages or mistakes than possibly kind of great execution at this point. Hopefully both coaches will make some adjustments at halftime. I can guarantee you they're seeing the same things that we are up here. They're going to take advantage of the matchups our slot receivers are getting for Great Britain. I think they'll look to exploit that in the second half, certainly.
Bradley Lewis deep.
I can see there being a few more scores yet in this game.
And the ball will be downed at about the 20. All the sign markers have gone down on that side now, so we can't really see what yardage signs they are.
So that was down.
And it was really interesting for me to see how much time the Great Britain staff spent on special teams at their 2-day camp. I mean, everyone always says special teams is a third of the game, but not many coaches have actually give it a third of the time. I think at international level it's so important because, like you said earlier, the mistakes can make such a big difference. You know, if a Great Britain player fails to field the punt properly down here, that can make all the difference to the outcome of the game. So to spend as long as they did on it, I think was time well spent. And as you saw, Great Britain understood what was asked of them. They got away from the ball.
There's that's a handoff there. Back to Dwight Colker on the ground for 2 to 3 yards there.
That's Mark de Jonker on the tackle.
And they're filling very quick from linebackers. It's the guy that you were talking about again earlier on a tackle for Holland. He's got a real nose for the ball.
Trips right now for GB Lions.
There's something that often gets overlooked. If you spot the guy with the gold helmet on the defensive line for Holland, he's about half the size of the Great Britain guys. But I mean, he missed the easy tackle there, filled in late. But he's too quick for them off the ball. He's almost being unblocked because he's too quick for them off the ball. He's filling quick, he's chasing quick. And that, I mean, obviously a lot of these guys play for me as well, and it's something that does come back to haunt you a little bit. The bigger the offensive line gets, it's like, you know, where's the cut-off point? You want size, you want to be able to protect your quarterback, you want to be able to run the ball well, but ultimately when you come up against international teams that have got strong players inside who are a little bit smaller but very quick off the ball, sometimes you can find it very difficult with the bigger lineman to block him.
It's another handoff to Colker, and he looks to have the first down. It's going to be really close.
Same guy again, 58 on the tackle for Holland. They drove him back well on that play. Tom Simonig and is it Declan Coppett, the centre, driving him back as a double team, but both peeled off him at the wrong point. I think one of them needed to stay on to block it.
And I think we're going to get a measurement here.
Yeah, that was number 61, Tim Breidijk on the tackle there as well.
And here come the chains to see if it's a first down. If not, it'll be fourth and very short.
And again, the coach taking a great opportunity there to talk to his quarterback, understanding the game while they're getting the measure. Call the QB over, have a little chat with him. Tell him what you're going to do if it is a first down, if it's not a first down, what the play is that we want.
And it is a first down, in fact, so it'll be 1st and 10 for GB.
Actually, I must give a bit of a shout out to Andrew Morgan, who's part of the coaching staff here. A very young coach, a kid that I actually coached at the Bristol Aztecs junior team back in sort of 2007, I think it was. He's mad keen on the sport. He's done a great job of himself. getting involved with the Birmingham Lions again with Wayne Hill this year will really help him out and help him develop as a coach. Plays for Shropshire Revolution as a player, I believe. But it's great to see Damien taking a chance on young guys like that and his coaching staff, giving them an opportunity to learn the game at the top level.
And that's another penalty on the Dutch, so it'll be 1st and 5 now from the 30.
And that's something Great Britain can come back to. We call it an ice play, where we'll ice the defence, try and pull them offside. They're very quick off the ball up front. You need to start to use that against them if it's causing you trouble. And one way to do that is the hard count.
Another way, of course, is screen plays and the little quick passes out to the sides.
Absolutely, and you saw them try that earlier on in the game. I think, we've got a run up the middle.
And that's well read by the defence there.
Something I don't like actually, the running back came up into the hole there, tried to cut his blocker. I think if you're trying to run the middle and you cut a player, creates a pile, it fills the gap. You've got nowhere to run as the runner there. I think you're much better off, even if you're the smaller guy, try and make an impact on the block. Try and give your ball carrier just one side or the other.
As a new running back comes in and a new lineman as well. Trude Akindele is coming in the backfield.
It's Tunde back out there again, as you said, running back. He really is a tough inside runner. They need to start feeding him the ball a bit now.
There's a pass. There's a
and
quick
there's that
screen
he talked about.
But it's well covered.
And there's that speed from Holland again. They left them up front, which should be enough to take them out of the game. The point of the screen is to sucker the players in towards the quarterback with their speed, pass off, but the Dutch are way too smart for the play.
And it will be 3rd and 7, so they've gone back on the last 2 players.
And you've got to think that lineman to be taken out mid-drive was probably an injury.
Yeah.
You don't normally take running backs can change mid-drive, receivers, but you don't normally take a quarterback or a lineman out mid-drive unless they're hurt.
Number 12 has got a lot of room to go on an out pattern here.
Again, they're challenging us to throw those slot receivers, but the protection's not there.
And that was great defence there.
Goes down in the backfield, Tahan Van Duyn on the sack.
And it'll be a punt. But that was great defence. That's the first time we've seen the Dutch get in the backfield consistently.
And they've gone back to that middle linebacker blitz again. When you're a coach, you look for tendencies from the opposition, so you're looking for things that you can pick out at halftime and say, okay, look, on 3rd down, guys, this is what they're doing, so we've got to get protection right. And pretty much every 3rd down now, they've looked to go to that middle linebacker blitz. In fact, they're sending it an awful lot of the time.
And this is a crucial punt. Luckily, the wind's dropped down, so hopefully that won't be a problem on the snap.
And a guy to highlight here, there's 2 guys on this play, Jack Berlin, the long snapper, and Bradley Lewis as the gunner spot. Both of them great athletes are going to get
That's a
downfield.
good punt. But a great catch, and he's got room down the sideline. Or is he going to cut it back across field? There's room out there. He cuts back inside, and he's away. What a return that is.
Go on, Will.
Oh, away to the end zone to Nielsen Radvik with a touchdown.
That was an incredible run back. You saw him reading where the blocks were, and he went from the right to the left, then back up the middle, then to the right.
And I think I gave him the kiss of death, didn't I? Talked about how long they spent on special teams, and there you go. Like I said, in these type of games, it's those are the plays. It's twice now Holland have capitalised on a mistake from Great Britain. Is, as you've said time and again, the Great Britain defence seems to have the making of their offence. It's the other plays that we've got to watch out for.
So they'll try and kick the extra point to make it a 14-7 game.
And we talk about awareness a lot when we're coaching football, and I don't know if you noticed, but there was a player for Great Britain who screamed across the formation, completely unaware of who had the ball, to make a block when they're the tackling team, and those are the type of things that you don't want to see your players doing. You want them to understand the situation and not worry about going for the big hits, but worry about making the tackle first.
So it's number 26, Stefan Boone, with the extra point coming up.
The kick is good, so that's 14-7, and as we say, the Dutch have scored on defence and scored on special teams. Their offence hasn't really showed up yet, and that's one area GB have dominated.
And I think that's why I think you could be quite relaxed as a Great Britain fan in the knowledge that I don't think you're going to score more than 2 scores from special teams and defence in a game. I would hope not anyway. And offensively, like you said, I think we've got the making of them, and there we could pick up a few scores.
And Great Britain almost broke one from the kickoff earlier on, 87. was caught by the last line of defence.
And again, I think that's where you need to look for the slightly bigger body types now on kick return for Great Britain to make sure that they open these lanes up. And this always worries me as a coach when you do slip a score behind. You want everyone switched on, ready to go. And for number 40 to be late out into the field, there's not a good sign.
So it'll be Bradley Lewis and Chris Wedderburn to return once more.
I think we want to keep up the middle here. Like I said, our bigger body types. We want to get some of these Dutch kids pushed out their lanes on the returns.
And it's going to be Wedderburn to pick this up. He's dropped it. He's got to get back on it. And it's fumbled again. And
the Dutch have got it. The Dutch have definitely got that one.
It could be whoever gets it at the bottom of the pile or in these type of situations.
Well, we've just seen what a difference special teams can make when you connect on it.
They really did kill it for them, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's just a small glitch for them.
Well, let's hope Chris is fighting for the ball at the bottom of the pile.
We'll see. This is the mystery that is the bottom of the pile in a tackle.
From here, I think I saw the Dutch kid fall on the ball, so I think the Dutch kid's actually got his hands on it, with Chris probably around him at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's hope Chris has got the ball from him at the bottom of the pile.
We'll find out in a minute. Looks like it's going to be a...
But Chris is late moving his feet. You know, he's got to get to the ball, underneath the ball, a lot quicker.
It is a Dutch ball.
Now, even at this point, I don't feel as though Holland are in any danger of scoring. I think Great Britain's defense has been so good to this point.
I think what we'll see...
it is Great Britain's ball.
Oh, it's Great Britain's ball. I'm sure he pointed towards us where we're standing, and then
that's what I thought as well.
Great Britain. But now we've got to take advantage of that special teams kind of mishaps. Now go down the field and get a score before the half.
You know, obviously Great Britain have been told about their splits on the sideline, because you notice they've come out and the first thing they've done is their offensive line have adjusted their splits. They've all been touching hands to widen their splits a little bit, make sure they're not getting too narrow. When a team's playing a 4-2 in the box against you, you want to widen those splits. You want to create some good running lanes out the middle. Here's a break.
And that's a great run. And he's got a chance to get away.
Got to tuck the ball away though.
Good last minute tackle there, but it's a good run by Tunde Akindele. And again, we saw there, the wide receiver was waiting for the little bubble screen, if that was on. But
he's a great inside runner, Tunde. He runs hard, he runs fast, hits holes fast, he's not worried about contact. Doesn't look like there's a lot to him, but it takes a lot to bring him down. The one thing he has got to worry about is he has got a finger injury picked up in camp. Then he hurt his other finger with us away at Wiesbaden. He needs to make sure he's protecting the ball with both hands and worried about how low that was with him there.
There's a pass, and that's a good catch by Jordan Robinson.
What a great pass.
Jack Robinson, sorry.
What a great pass. There's that much confidence when you have thrown a pick to come out and have that much confidence, throw the ball again.
And as I said earlier, they're moving down the field now, and this has got to build the confidence back up after the special teams.
And we talked about this earlier. Look at Great Britain. They've gone to trips over on the left. Look at all the space one-on-one and how tight the coverage is on the right.
Could be a slant.
Great Britain have got to challenge that receiver over there now. They've got to put the ball up to him.
And the Dutch are going to call a timeout.
And maybe that's what the Dutch defensive coordinator is seeing as well.
Because it was one-on-one in acres of space. If you beat your man...
Absolutely. The next nearest guy, the free safety, split in the field. They've rolled their coverage to play the trips on the narrow side of the field.
And the size of the wide receiver out there compared to the cornerback, he has the matchup there.
And I think that's the kid that caught the touchdown. So he's very, very quick. If you can one step fade to the outside, or as you said, get a slant inside, but just test him.
Just a quick, if you beat the press there, you've got a touchdown.
And the wind at your back as well, so the perfect time to do it. You've got momentum. And interesting to see the Dutch's reaction. They having just scored, England get momentum straight back, a run, a good pass, instant panic and calling a timeout.
Great Britain looking to get back level. It's been a great game so far. The Dutch taking a 7-0 lead before Great Britain got back 7-0. And then a special teams touchdown. Great punt return from the Dutch to make it 14-7. And that's where we are in the second quarter here at Gateshead Stadium. And we're going to see the same formation, the trips to the left, one-on-one. They've shaded over a safety now, it seems, or is he going over the middle? No.
Interesting, they've not adjusted the formation at all. I'd say that if Great Britain have got to challenge that cornerback now, they've got to look to pass to the right.
And that's what he's doing. He's looking right all the way and he throws it. It was...
just underthrown. The receiver had him there, just underthrown.
It was an inside slant post typer out as well. probably a skinny post.
Looked a little bit rushed, the QB. I'm not sure he realised he had as much time as he did. Didn't get his feet set to throw the football.
So it's 2nd and 10. Just they'll run the same formation again and again.
And if the Dutch aren't, I mean, I'm a big believer in if the Dutch aren't going to change what they're doing, don't change what you're doing. It's working. Keep going back to that wide receiver.
Drop back, he's looking to the right.
I don't think that was a good call.
They seem to be shading the whole defence across the field there. They know what's coming.
They were looking like they were trying to get a one-on-one matchup by pulling the running back out into the flats there, but the defensive end left and covered as well. It looks a little bit like these defensive ends may have kind of blitz and engage responsibilities, where if a running back pulls out, their responsibility is to engage on him as well, and that becomes very difficult as an offensive coordinator to account for that in your play calling.
So
that's where
10.
another pump fake from the QB and maybe run the gap that he's left might come in really good.
3rd and 10, he's keeping it. Roll out. He's got room. Jack Robinson going for the first down, and he's got the first down. That's a great play.
A nice catch there, and then forced out of bounds.
Jack Robinson, who we gave a shout out to earlier, there's people watching him.
His coach is going to be very proud. Yeah, he's doing a great job.
That was Sjoerd van der Meer on the tackle there. That takes him down to roughly around about the 10-yard line.
And it's another injury.
But they're getting the matchups. Great Britain are getting the matchups. The Dutch are still challenging them to pass the football. They're still manning up on them. And there's too much space.
It's hard to tell how far they have left to go from our vantage point. I believe they're inside the 10. And it'll be 1st and goal. Feels like we've
got rid of the sticks, yes, I'd say inside the 10.
It feels like we've been here a long time, and it's still only the 2nd quarter.
It started out exciting with fumbles and turnovers. We've had a couple scores so far, so it is really, it's been very back and forth. But yeah, like you said, it does feel like we're much further into the game.
And again, it's great to see how quickly the Great Britain players understood the situation. Timeout called, ran straight to the sideline to get information from the coaches, and I can tell you, we play enough teams at all different levels. I've played obviously within the community leagues within England at BAFA. I've played internationally with FBU and in Dodds League. Still, the amount of players that don't understand the situations within the game. When it's a timeout, whether it's your timeout or the opposition's, who stare into space, don't understand the importance of coming over to get some more information from your coach. And that's great to see the discipline from Great Britain. As soon as the timeout was called by the opposition, they ran straight to their coaches.
It's that mental awareness that they need now, and especially going into the 4th quarter.
I think that's the focus that they were missing early on in the game when they were making those mistakes on offense. Whereas now they're clicking, they've got that focus back. Seems to be a bit of a mix-up here though, where the running back's supposed to line up.
Your man Tunde Akindele in the backfield, and it could be a place for him to take it up the middle. And he's got away.
Good inside runner
that's
again.
good running, and that's a touchdown.
What a great play.
What a great run up the middle there.
And they'll go to tie it up with the extra point, but as you say, he was a great inside runner. You saw those moves, the jukes. He juked a couple of people off their feet there and ran in for the touchdown.
And Tunde's really lucky. His coach with us is a guy called Daniel Mayer, who's one of the Pride kids that's come through the team. Was actually part of the team that beat Great Britain back in 2009. Went to Illinois College out in the States, spent a year playing NCAA football. So Tunde's getting the benefits of someone who's played NCAA football on a day-to-day basis with us, and he's mimicking his coach's running style. You know, Dan's a great hard-nosed inside runner, and Tunde's showing the same kind of skills that Dan does as a player as well.
And that is good. It is 14-all now. Inside 2 minutes here in the first half, as we get ready for another kickoff, and this is where the Great Britain Lions have got to be careful. They scored on the last special teams play, and they look to have quick runners in the back field there.
And you've said it. You can't afford to switch off. If you take often in games when you score, it's the following kickoff where teams switch off and they give up a big play. And as you've seen, this Dutch team is very capable of breaking the big plays.
And it'll be Jack Robinson who does everything.
A late player running on special teams is not what you want to see.
There was a late player last time and they ran for a touchdown, didn't there?
True. Shows why I know, I suppose.
So Dutch Lions back, same 3 guys back to receive.
Gutsy call, but it'd be a great time to try an onside kick. You've got momentum. They've given you the middle of the field.
Especially the way they've played defensively as well.
Exactly. I mean, you could turn the ball over inside your 10 and you still think Holland would be hard pressed to score.
As you heard from the Dutch sideline there, watched the onside, but it went deep.
And the sun was right in his eyes. You could tell that made it difficult for him.
And he's got a chance to run it back, and Great Britain get over, pin him on the sideline and take him out of bounds.
Great coverage.
Really good coverage there downfield. So Dutch will take over deep within their own half, looking to try and drive before the end of the first half here in this game.
With the way their offense is played, do you think they'll take the knees here as they're that deep in their territory and go to half-time level?
I'm not sure they've got the quarterback to do anything else, to be honest. We've not seen him pass it very much other than screens. I don't think they've got the confidence in their quarterback, but he's lined up in the gun and looking to do something here.
4 receivers to the right. He's just going to run it.
He's certainly an athlete. Smart play, gets out of bounds, stops the clock.
Good run there, gets them the first down as well.
And I guess we got our answer, they're going to run it.
Yeah.
Especially with they had 4 receivers out there this time.
Empty backfield, always something tough to defend as a defense if they spread you out of empty backfield and the quarterback can run the ball.
Especially when you've got the 4 blockers over there right in front of him.
A smart thing to do as well, go down the narrow side of the field. The Great Britain defense, as said earlier, don't adjust loads of players to the narrow side of the field.
And it's in 4 to the left now, he's going to run it again. We've seen what they're doing now.
Not enough of a tackle from Bradley Lewis. It's not good enough 10 yards in field just to give a guy a push. You've got to wrap him up.
Especially when it's crucial getting out of bounds at this time.
We want to make those tackles in bounds.
But we've seen what they do. They're going to run the quarterback to the side with the 4-man, and then probably later in the drive they'll be expecting to run. He'll run that way and then just throw it deep if they leave him open.
And I thought, to be honest with you, when they lined 4 guys up with the passing game they've had, they were looking to screen it. But as you said, it looks to be a running attack now. But the matchup, the numbers are in their favours to the 4 receiver side again. They're not bringing enough defenders out to the 4 receiver side. They're trying to get pressure inside on him.
And this time he was going to throw it. A flag on the play before the snap, but you can see that's what they were setting up. They were trying to make the defence go after the quarterback rather than the receivers.
Scott Rowe now making the adjustments on defence. He's a couple of yards onto the field trying to communicate it onto his players. Damien Anderson, obviously, as well, the head coach, has got a great reputation as a defensive coach with the London Blitz senior team as the defensive coordinator there. I mean, we all know how state they've been in the last sort of, well, almost a decade now.
It will be 2nd and 10.
And they're still making adjustments to the defensive coordinator on the sideline for Great Britain.
And another flag.
Wasn't happy with the way the team lined up. He's trying to communicate to someone to push over. He doesn't like the way they're lined up against 4 receivers. They do look a little bit narrow, Great Britain, against the 4 receiver sets, but Dutch have done little blocking out there. This is, against 2 guys, they still failed to pick up Bradley Lewis with an open field block. So we're getting ready here. They've gone backwards on the last 2 penalties, so they're back near where they started this drive. So it'll be 2nd and about 16. There's a little bit of confusion up front again from Great Britain.
Could be time to run up the middle, and there's another flag.
Another flag here, so not sure if we'll ever get this play off here.
This is where the guys at home might want to have a little look at number 56 off the edge, a guy called Cadell King. He's a great pass rusher. In this type of situation, he can just pin his ears back and go as well. I mean, this is where he could end up with a big sack if that offensive line doesn't do its job properly for Holland. And they don't look quick enough to cope with him at the moment. It's
another 5 yards backwards, so it'll be 2nd and 22, and they're getting close to their own goal end zone here.
So we're looking at the speed rush end, 56 for Great Britain. He's widening himself to give himself a wide line up and get a good rush at the QB. And Great Britain really unhappy the way their guys were lined up. Again, they've called a timeout to try and solve the problem.
So in the timeout here, we'll just say hello to everyone watching at home, not just UK and Holland, but also Denmark. Members of the Triangle Razorbacks team over in Denmark are watching.
Awesome.
Yeah, also Spain, Alfonso's promoting our game and our streams, so thanks very much, telling everyone over there in Madrid.
I'm not saying hello in every language. I don't know that many.
Well, so we've got Denmark, Spain, UK, Holland as well. Lots of people watching from home from Holland. Also some Pride guys. Leon Holland's watching.
Oh, yeah, he's up in Scotland. He's going to watch the Stirling game tomorrow. I believe he'll be probably watching it with Arnold, who I announced earlier.
Yeah, absolutely, and a few others too. So keep your tweets coming in to @gridiron_TV. Also keep your messages coming into our Facebook page. A few people writing into that just to say thanks for the stream, thanks for bringing this game over to Holland, and also cheering on their favourite players. Remember, you can also go to our YouTube page to get a little bit of an insight to before the game. We had a chat with a couple of players from the Dutch team, as well as Coach Orr from the British team, the GB Lions, to give their thoughts, so you can see how their thoughts pan out to what you've seen so far in the game today.
I think Coach Orr's recruited most of the Dutch team to Stirling over the last year, so he knows them all quite well. Certainly Remy, who's here supporting his fellow teammates, his fellow countryman on the Dutch sideline you spoke to earlier. He's now playing at Stirling University.
He's playing tomorrow against Glasgow.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that game straight after this, so I can't wait.
Yeah. We've got Coach Anderson down there, and one of his guys, Ed Morgan, back home watching. So he gets a break from being down there on the pitch with him to at home seeing what he can do with his team there as they break from the timeout here to go back into play. Still Dutch ball, long way for them to drive. They're backed up towards their own end zone.
And again, we want to watch Cadell King. He's got the wide lineup, he's got the edge. Great inside move, but they run away from him. Again, we're giving this QB the sideline and too much space.
And it will be 3rd and 12, but he's got 10 yards on one player there. And that's what you do. If you've got 4 to one side, the defence moves over, you've got the one-on-one to block on the other side, and you'll take that.
Be interested to see at what point he wants to go back to this pass as well. Here it is.
It's going deep.
No, that's a pick.
That's an interception ball. Oh, he let him go back to the ball.
Caught watching the football here. It was a tackle in bounds though, which helped.
Oh, great recovery from Ripken.
I think this may be a late hit on the quarterback. Cadell King off the edge. I say great pass rush. But when you do commit that heavily to the pass rush and you do pin your ears back and go, sometimes you can't pull out of the hit at the last minute.
It was Lane Agbaje who waited for the ball. We talk about when you're being coached, you go towards the ball when it's in the air. He just waited for it, and the wide receiver came back in and took the reception, and it's put them.
This might be a holding call
as they're going back up the field. But you can't do that as a cornerback. You've got to go and get the ball at its highest point.
I don't think anyone really attacked the ball at that on that pass. I mean, and that is something that comes with experience. And you do tend to find that the kids within this age group, the very elite, the very good ones will attack the ball, and that's the main difference in them. A receiver and at cornerback, way too many of them just stand and watch the ball. It's partly a result of not passing the football enough in the junior leagues over here. It's not something you see on a regular basis.
And we saw that earlier on when he was on offense. Carlos Tarragona did that, went towards the ball and knocked it down when there was an interception.
And he's shown that he's obviously a player of elite level with his play so far.
And it's another pass. Oh, and it was nearly a pick there.
Will Crowfoot again.
He's had a great first half as Will Crowfoot and nearly got it. And now it's 4th down, deep in territory. This gives Great Britain a great chance to get the ball.
And Will Crowfoot's a junior for us, going to be a senior next year going into his final year with us. But I think due to our age limits are slightly different in our league to Great Britain. Theirs are done 1st of January to 1st of January, whereas ours are done August to August. So I think he gets an extra year of GB. So I think he could have 3 years left at this level, which is great news for if you're building a program, certainly building a defense around people. He's certainly one of the kids I'd look to build it around.
That's Roddy Vink back to punt.
And we need to leave that and get away.
And it's gone backwards, so that's number 47 there, Jack Shreves with the pickup. But this is great territory. Well, we've got to be inside 1 minute now. for Great Britain to try and get that
But they have
go-ahead
used a
lead.
lot of timeouts when they're on defence.
They have.
I'm not sure how many we've got left in the game at this point, but with the no-huddle type offense, we're built for this type of situation. You know, they can get the plays in quick, they can get the play off quick. We're built for this type of situation, so I'd like to see them pass the ball. Let's see them challenge these corners now. That 87, Chris Wedderburn, on their 46, that's a great matchup for us, and we need to be exploiting that.
As Tom Reed will look to pass.
That's a speedster on a linebacker.
And it will be a pass to the
And
right.
he's wide open, he's wide open.
Oh, and he's looked the other way.
That corner out is something I was talking about earlier on in the game. When they're playing man coverage and they're playing press so tight and the only safety is right in the middle of the field, that gives the receivers both corners of the field to go to. And certainly if you're going to run away from someone in man coverage, that's going to make you wide open. All he's got to do is get a step and run to the corner, he's going to be open.
And that's what the quarterback's got to help with. He's got to stare the safety the wrong way, and it gives his guys more time. There he stared down number 85 and had him open but didn't get the pass just right, and he'll pass again. That's a great rush up the middle, but he's avoided it, and that's a big sack.
Again, a mistake a lot of young quarterbacks make is he looked at the pass rush, he didn't look downfield. He's a little bit more understanding of the game, a little bit more experience. He'll know that someone's going to clean that guy out. He had a running back in there. That kid was going to get picked up, and that just panicked him a little bit.
There's now some initial pressure, and then cheers on the sack afterwards.
But that's that speed up front we talked about before as well. Whilst we've got the size advantage up front, they're too quick for us at the moment. And maybe this is where in passing downs we need to narrow those splits a little bit. Give them less rushing room. Much better pass protection and rollout. He is open.
And he takes it to the sideline, runs out of bounds. It'll be 4th down now. So maybe he should have stayed in bounds to keep the clock running there.
But you almost ran out of time there. That was terrific pressure from the defensive line to keep pursuing. That's 2 in a row that they've managed to disrupt the pass there.
And I think you made a great point, and it comes down to understanding the game, been put in these situations before. If the quarterback at that point had stayed in bounds, it slid, there is a change of possession coming up on 4th down, but at least that would run the clock down a little bit more.
So they'll try and pin them deep as the ball's fumbled.
Bobbled.
And that's what happens. And that is just not what you want to happen just before the half, as Chris Wedderburn.
And I really have killed their special teams, haven't I? I mean, honestly, they did spend a lot of time rehearsing their special teams. It looked very good in practice. It is completely different in a game. And many of these kids out here are playing 2 positions, so their special teams position is not their primary function on the team. I know the long snapper, for instance, is playing wide receiver as well. So, if they're getting tired out there running routes, if they're getting exhausted and then coming on a snap, it's going to take their focus away. But as we said, I don't think there's any worry here from the junior offense. I think that the Great Britain Lions defense has done so well.
So the Dutch Lions take a timeout there. They need a few more moments to figure out what they're going to do here with these last couple plays they'll have before the half.
Scott Rowe here with the quick change of possession without, with them running on the field quickly. He's just checking to make sure he's got 11 players on the field and he's got the right personnel he wants on.
And we could see the quarterback run it again, the way he's done that to that side with 4 blockers, and he did get some good yardage. So you've got to make those open field tackles on him. They've got to count now.
And he's going to have that narrow side of the field again. He's right away over onto 1 hash. So if they line up with 4 receivers on this side and Great Britain don't move enough bodies across, then that would be a very good tactic to use. That may be the last time out for the junior Lions at this point. Coach Damien here on the sideline, desperately trying to get some last-minute instructions into Francis on the field.
And there's 4 receivers.
Asking him to back up a little bit. Again, this is we want to watch the pass rush here from 56. Quick off the ball, maybe a little bit too quick.
I think that's an offside. The pass is deep, he's open.
It's just put up there. Come on, there we go. Again, nobody on the defense really attacking the ball.
If he'd stepped into that throw, that was a wide open pass. And that's the threat. He does run it, but he also can throw it deep. He just needed a little less trajectory to get it there a bit quicker.
And I think 56, I think Cadell King was offside on that one. I said I think he got a great start, maybe a little bit too good.
And it'll be 1st and 5
And one of the captains here, 94, Connor Nicholson from I believe the Inverclyde Phoenix originally, again plays with us at the Pride. He's reorganising his defensive line here at this point, talking with Cadell King. Now, Connor 94 has got a great inside move. He's got a great push-pull move, as we call it down at Filton, and I think you may see it in use here. Tries to get cut, but he's free on the quarterback.
And that's
great
a fumble.
Pressure from Cadell.
That's a fumble. Well, it's not a fumble, it's whistled dead. But that was a great play by Cadell King.
And I'm not quite sure why the Dutch QB is trying to roll to the side with the free rusher. They've lined a rusher up free off of the Lions' left-hand side, and he rolled straight into it.
And that is the half-time whistle.
So half-time here in the Gateshead Stadium, and it is a tied ball game, nothing between them. We've had a fantastic match so far, gentlemen. Let's have a quick chat before we go off air. We're going to go off air just for the half-time, so don't go too far away. We'll rejoin you. But what are your final departing thoughts for the first half here, Stu?
I'll talk about the GB Lions offense. They've got those open receivers on the outside. They've got chances to hit the slants in the press coverage of the Dutch Lions, and I believe GB, if they can control the ball, do what they did on the last drive there before, they've got a good chance of winning this game.
And defensively for the GB team, it's just, I think it's really going to come down to alignment. When they went to 4 receivers, they looked a little bit confused to start with. Are they going to make the adjustments at halftime, try and shift it up a little bit? If that QB stays in and continues to run the way he has been, that will cause them trouble down the half. And if it is going to remain a close game, you want to make sure you stop the plays that are having success.
Indeed, so we've got another half of football, what promises to be a really exciting half of football here on Gridiron TV, so don't go too far away. We'll be back around about 10 minutes time, so see you guys for the second half of this game.
14-all. It's been a cracking game so far as we get ready for this drive from Great Britain. It will be pistol, trips to the quarterback's left. It is number 15, Tom Clancy, back in. He started the game. We saw a lot of Tom Reed in the second quarter, and now it's back to Tom Clancy. Clancy drops back, handoff. Is stopped there from the defence. That was Nick Whitehead back in the backfield with the short loss on the play. As we are going here at Gateshead Stadium for this international game, we've had followers listening from all over Europe, and we're glad to have you here on Gridiron TV, as it is 2nd and 13. Clancy drops back, looking deep. He's been pressured from the right, and he gets out of bounds. Good presence in there from the quarterback. Felt the pressure from the backside and ran out of bounds. It will be 3rd and 9 here, as the Dutch Lions look to stop this drive early here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. It's important for the Dutch Lions that they get back this momentum they had at times during this game, to make sure that Great Britain can't take advantage of all the adaptations they've made towards the end of the first half to get back into this.
And trips left as he throws it, and it's a bit high for the receiver there, number 87, Chris Vedderburn, and it will be a punt early for Great Britain Lions.
Indeed, so a chance for the Dutch to do what they can. We had a quick chat with the head coach at half-time. Actually, he explains, we asked him, how do you think your team's performed, and he seemed to be fairly happy with how things went, and sort of pointed out the fact that looking at the offensive side, the quarterbacks are incredibly young, so 15, 16 years old, so not a lot of experience behind them, but they're going to learn a lot from today.
Wedderburn with the punch. Remember last time he returned it for a touchdown, he's got a chance to cross the field, and that's a huge block there from Jack Shreers. But they get across there, eventually Bradley Lewis, but that was a huge block by number 47.
That's it. That's exactly what the thing you need to look out for in special teams. It's a fully three-dimensional aspect. You've got guys running in every direction, and the guys who are more experienced on punts and kicks will keep their head up and keep their eyes open to anything going on. because it's easy to be caught on little reverse blocks and changes like that. So,
and it was a huge block. He's still down as Isaac Marshall. But that was good coverage there from the GB line. So saw the last punt go for a touchdown that swayed across the field a couple of times. That time he looked to be getting towards the outside on the right, but he was closed down by the GB line.
Indeed, and obviously now they understand the way that Radvik is able to change direction and go back and forth, go all the way across the field if he wants to. So it's really emphasised the importance of actually getting that tight coverage and staying disciplined within their lanes of coverage. So excuse me, for anyone not familiar, the actual coverage that they need to provide on punts like that to make sure that nobody goes outside or inside and reverses and cuts back all the time.
Yes, it's all about staying in your lanes, especially on kick return and punt return, keeping him inside when you're running. Here we go, the new quarterback for the Dutch. Back in I formation, they'll now hand up the middle. He's going to run. And it's straight up to Will Crowfoot with the tackle, and the new quarterback in for the Dutch. Here's number 1, Ronnie Mink. So now with 2nd and 2. Still the I formation. Just got the handle on the ball.
2 defenders there, get him in the backfield. Numbers 94 Connor Nicholson and 95 Leo Chuck there to put a short loss in the play. It'll be 3rd and 4 for Holland. That was number 14 on the carry, Yorick Hessing.
So make sure you keep sending in all your tweets on Facebook. Tweet to @Gridiron_TV and Facebook messages to GridironTV.
And it'll be Vink under centre again in the eye. 3 yards to go. He's going to pass it to his right. And that is great pass rush there from the GB Lions, led by Matt Williams, the linebacker. And it will be 4th down and 2. The punt team is coming on for the Dutch, and coming on is the return team for Great Britain with Chris Vedderburn and Bradley Lewis in the backfield. Vink will punt. It's a late run on there from the Dutch. He goes back off now. And there's a flag on the play. It'll be a legal substitution for the Dutch, I do believe. They'll add a few yards on this punt. There's always confusion for people coming on. Yep, a legal substitution penalty, so it'll go back 5 yards. It'll be 4th and 7. And it'll be a punt from inside their own 20.
So once again backed up. We saw them at the end of the first half backed up towards their own end zone, as they're going back that way again here. So they need a really good kick here to get them reasonable field position to take some of the pressure off their D.
It's crucial to get this snap though, and it's a good snap, and the kick is off, and it's a good kick towards Wedderburn. He catches it, and he's got to run down the right hand side for him. There's a flag on the play. That's probably going to be holding on the kicking team, but it is a good return.
He almost looked like he was going to put his hand up to signal a fair catch, but then pulled them down just in time as he realised he could have a return on here.
And I think that's what the Dutch are saying, is that he called a fair catch type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a late flag's gone down further down the field.
And they were at the point of the catch almost, so yeah, they might well call this so that he did see a fair catch signal after all.
Which would be an unsportsmanlike penalty on the GB Lions. Right, it's a block in the back they've got, so
well, there we go, they fooled us all.
The return will be back towards their own 20 for the Great Britain Lions as the offence comes out once more, and it is Tom Clancy still. Offense still in the pistol with 4 wide receivers. We've seen that all day from Great Britain. We've started to see the Dutch cover 1 slot receiver, but the other one is still open. And it's going to be a run to the right by the wideout, Wedderburn, and it's a good tackle down the field, but it could be a first down. It looks like a first down.
Good, strong one in there. Through the first tackle, put his shoulders down, kept his head up, and that's good power running to get beyond the first down marker. With someone slow to get up on the Dutch side, but that's the sort of statement they need to make in the second half, is to come out playing tough on offense, playing physical, grind down this Dutch team for the third quarter. So gives them the extra added bonus in the fourth quarter of having the guys that are fresher, and that's really just fundamental tough-nosed football.
Yeah, you want to get momentum at the start of the half and the start of the each half, really, and that's what we're looking for. And we've seen that play work a few times. The motion from one side gives the handoff on the end around, and it's great play that's worked for Great Britain.
So I'll give a quick shout out here. Whilst I've got a moment of a break in play here, can I get a shout out from the Lanarkshire Longhorns to Matt McCallum? So this is the second or third shout out today. So obviously the team's watching, obviously the team's supporting him. So hi guys, hope you're enjoying the show. Also there's a few shout outs actually on Twitter. We mentioned Spain before, and even more guys watching. So guys watching from Spain. It's great to have people from around Europe, although we've seen that a lot of times on our Brit Bowl and university football broadcasts. We've had people watching from America, and from Africa, from Asia, from all over the place. And we talk about this match being a great representation for junior football here in the UK and also for the Dutch team, but it's a great example of European football in general for people watching from other European countries who might have even played some of these guys before in other matches, but also guys from America and anywhere else who don't get a chance to see this stuff often.
Yeah, it's great. It's great exposure for the game in Europe, and it shows the community that there is in Europe. Everyone supports the game, and everyone will watch every game. We've got, as you say, people from Spain. We've got a Danish team that we've got a tweet from. And it's great to see them looking at all the countries in Europe. There's all one big community of American football, and that can only be good things to build like a European programme.
Indeed, it's these sort of wider growths and sort of world team developments, the squads as well, that help to pull everything together for guys, especially if we're talking the UK, for example, that may only have some experience of playing within their team or their local teams as sort of the games they play during the season, but the exposure that they get to at this level to other teams and other coaches and their experiences of what's happening in football in their countries is invaluable at times.
As the injured player is being taken off the field, he looks like he's got a leg injury, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the GB Lions.
And as heartless as it sounds, if that's a defensive back, the first thing that Great Britain should do is go after his replacement.
Definitely. You always find out who the weakest player you perceive is on the defence and go after that man until he proves he can stop you.
And this is a new guy out in the slot in the 87. They have changed the way they're aligning a little bit now, the Dutch Lions.
And it's another sweep to the wide receiver, and he's got momentum and he's away. Oh, that's a great tackle there coming across the formation from number 46.
That's Roy Shears with a touchdown saving tackle there, but huge hole opened up for him. He just had to keep moving his legs. He just didn't quite make it. That's the man of inches.
You can see Coach over there really excited on the sideline for his running back. His running back made the key block there, sprung his guy. What a great block.
That was Alex Adjuwan with the carry, and that's put Great Britain in a great position here. We saw them a lot in the first quarter down in towards this end zone, but couldn't make it count. Can they do it now? Clancy with a hand off to Wedderton.
He's got people out
there. There's a flag on the play. I believe that's a holding call. It's going to be. There's a fumble. The whistle went before the fumble, but there's going to be a holding call, I do believe, on the outside. It looked like.
So we've seen some success for GB with these sweeps, trying to keep it on the ground, trying to stretch the Dutch defence.
Is that Declan Copwick at centre still, 66?
Yes.
That's another great success story, really. I mean, he's a kid that was new to the sport about a year and a half ago, came to us down at Filton, really struggled his first year, had a few nasty injuries, didn't get on the field very much. Spent the off-season working really, really hard. I mean, I know him and Tom Clancy and one of our wide receivers spend pretty much every day making sure they're getting 100 perfect reps. So he's getting 100 good snaps a day on his own time. Our QB's getting 100 good throws a day. Our receivers getting 100 good catches a day. And it does make the difference. And he's really worked hard to get to where he is.
And Tom Clancy in the pistol still. See if they go with the sweep once more. Nope, they're going to pass it.
He's open.
He's got him open. Get it in. He's got it.
Great catch.
Great catch.
Touchdown, GB Lions.
That's something we've looked at earlier on, but you saw he got away from the line, he got off the press coverage, and there was no one to cover him deep.
And that's what we were talking about earlier in the game, wasn't it? Go to the corners, run that smash concept stuff, go to the corners.
Yep.
If we can get a step on him, he's open. That's all we needed.
And it was a great throw by the quarterback, hit him in stride over his left shoulder. And that's one of the hardest catches to make in football.
It is, yeah. And Clancy's made a habit of doing that with us. I mean, he got a score very similar to Wedderburn last week against Wiesbaden for us, almost exactly the same play.
And that is Great Britain's first lead of the day. Can they put the exclamation point on it? It is good. So that's 21-14, and that's the first lead of the game for the GB Lions.
And again, we talk about guys being dual players and dual roles, and he catches a touchdown and then takes the kick afterwards and gets the extra point. So it's great for football in this country that these players are going to develop to senior football with all range skills of the sport.
And they will now see a return from the Dutch Lions, who have already got a score on special teams. Their offense hasn't showed much going down the field. It's been special teams and a defensive score for them. So they'll be looking to get started in this third quarter on offense.
And at the very minimum,
we're short again on special teams. We're short again on special teams. The guy running on late.
Another error for them. But yeah, one thing that the Dutch need to do on offense is make sure they don't commit any turnovers here. Well, as you said, Stu, the defence and special teams are holding up their end of it, making plays and getting points on the board. So as long as the offence can get rid of those fumbles, turnovers, and start getting into a good habit of executing plays, then that's what they need to get back into this game.
It'll be interesting to see if they go with the eye again. They did on their first series here in the second half, after going pistol for most of the second quarter. If they go back the
collisions, they want to look at number 14 here with a silver lid on for Holland.
And that's a great kick.
He's always looking for the big collision.
Well, that's picked up by Sean Richard.
He's got a chance to get the outside. But it's good coverage there by Leo Chuck again. We've called his name out a few times. On special teams, he's done well as well. Kicking tee still on the field. I'd just like to point out. I don't think anyone's seen it yet.
I think that comes down to it. The different clubs, it's different people's responsibilities to take it off the field. So it's one of those things at international level. It's often gets left on the field.
Who gets kicking tee duty?
Let's see if that trips anyone up for a touchdown. He's got room to pass. He's got a man open deep.
The sun helped us there. The sun definitely helped us there. He couldn't see a thing.
And the wind as well would have kept it up in the air and didn't let him get deep enough.
Yeah, that's Rodi Vink, who we've seen a couple of times punting the ball. Not seen him much at quarterback, but yeah, like you said, it's going to be tricky for Holland here for this quarter. They've got some awkward shadows going across the pitch, leaving some nasty bright spots for the receivers to look back into.
And when the receivers have got to look back into the sun, you've got to throw more of a laser pass to them. You can't hang it up in the air. You've got to keep it out the sun.
This could be a sweep to the left. GB, you've got it covered, and that's a great tackle there by Matt McCallum. 3rd down and 12. And this is where GB can get the momentum. They've got the score, they've got the go-ahead touchdown. If they can force a punt here and really build the pressure on the Dutch, it'll be only good things for Great Britain.
And it's great to see that Great Britain is the whole of Britain. You know, they made an effort to go up to Scotland and recruit the best players from Scotland this year, and you saw one of them there getting in on a tackle. I know the guys from the Longhorns will be going crazy over that. So
it's going to be another pass. And that's an interception, and that should be a score for number 37, Aloy Stewart Karoma.
Another error. We talk about errors on the Dutch offense. There's one.
It was a slant pattern thrown well behind the receiver, and it was just there for the cornerback to just take to the house. And GB have got going in this third quarter.
Another London Blitz guy there as well, making a big impact on the game.
And there'll be the extra point from Wedderburn. Only 10 on the field for the Dutch. And it's good, so it's 28-14 to Great Britain.
And that's the perfect start for the second half. They were under pressure a little bit earlier in the game, but that does the confidence the world of good, especially for the younger guys. The sort of anyone who's in their first international game or just getting into the team takes their minds off of it too, seeing that they've got this comfortable lead building up.
And you can see now on the Dutch sideline, you can see the body language has dropped a bit. The coaches need to get them riled up, get them back into this game.
It's great to see the organised discipline on both sidelines really with the coaching staffs. They're not missing any opportunities to coach their players. You can see there on the Dutch sideline, they've got the guys huddled around, they're talking about what they need to do, the adjustments they need to make, and they seem switched on.
And we talk about adjustments. The coaches for Great Britain have made some great adjustments in the second half, and they've got a really quick start here. That shows the quality of the British coaching.
And I think certainly with international games, when you're not comfortable within a system as a player and you're new to the system, it's very difficult to make adjustments during the gameplay. As in, let's change this to this, let's make this little adjustment. But at halftime, that's where you can make the big adjustments. And as you said, that shows the quality of the staff.
And it's another kick return. It's Fumble. He's got to pick it up.
Late picking it up.
And he's made one dodge and he's got a chance, but that's another good tackle.
Akindele on the tackle.
Does everything, does Akindele. Runs the ball and he makes tackles on special teams.
Don't tell him that. Please don't tell him that.
He'll have this recorded on YouTube for him to hear again and again.
And again, it's probably worth making a shout out to Coach Rob Jolly down at Hampshire Thrashers. Akindele is one of his guys. Came to the Pride along with Tom Simoni, Chris Vasilchu, Will Crowfoot. I hope I'm not missing anybody out that's here representing Great Britain today from his team. He's just running a great program down there at Hampshire.
And number 16 is back in for the Dutch.
I'm not sure this helps you. I'm not sure this helps you as a team to continually swap your quarterbacks around. I don't think it allows them to get any momentum going. I don't think it gives them a chance to get any confidence or play themselves through the bad spots. I mean, you mentioned before that you played quarterback. I'm sure you wouldn't have appreciated in one drive out the next, in one drive out the next.
Yeah, indeed. It's one thing to repped out if you've got a nice balance between, say, a pass dominant quarterback and a run dominant, where you can understand the need to mix it up to keep the defense on the back foot. But like you'd say, if they're getting taken out every drive, it doesn't allow them to build any sort of momentum because they don't know if they're going to be back in the next drive or not.
Especially after throwing an interception for a touchdown.
It's not good for your confidence, is
you
it?
You don't want to be taken out of play. You want to go out there and prove yourself. And his coaching staff telling him go sit on the bench now. Yeah. It's not going to build his confidence. And if he has to come back in due to an injury, what's that going to do to the lad? Because as we spoke to their coach at half time, all their quarterbacks are 15, 16. They're younger guys at this level.
And again, it just goes to show that both the teams here are using this in the right way. They're trying to build for the future. They understand that the tournaments that they're planning for to qualify aren't this year. They're not next year. It's building for the future. Keeping people involved in a game that are going to be there for them at those tournaments. And quarterback being such a pivotal spot, you've got to play them through these rough spots.
That pass falls through the hands of Radvik there.
Second down and 10.
give a mention to Klaus, who's watching all the way from Germany. He'd like to know the player's name of number 52. Well, he doesn't actually say so much, but we believe he's talking about Yannick Bartels for the Dutch squad. So that's Yannick Bartels. He's wearing the yellow lid, playing left guard right now.
And the pistol handoff up in the middle, and he's got some room.
It looks like they've gone with more of a power back option now, the Dutch, running the football.
And that will be close to a first down, probably a yard short. But that's what you want to do. You're down 2 scores, you want to get some momentum, and if that means power running, you send those linemen to block.
Yeah, that was Jonathan Tegus on the run there. But yeah, you're right, just take back the game to you, set it how you want it to be. Try not panic and air the ball out or make mistakes or try and call plays that you're not comfortable with. Just get back to what you're used to. Give the guys some confidence in that they can move the ball, that they can put a drive together, and then hopefully you can start getting their mental focus we talked about earlier, getting it back so that they've got 2 scores to come back from here.
Must have been a flag on that play.
I'm not sure that we're adjusting correctly to trips again here on the left-hand side. We're a little bit isolated.
It's 3-on-2 essentially. And
we've split the difference with the linebacker now, but that's an easy crackdown block for 80 if you want to run the ball to this side.
And
he's very athletic, this quarterback.
And he's got a chance to cut inside, and he does so. He's got some
fumble.
A fumble. And it's out of bounds, so that'll stay. I'll stay a Dutch ball, but again, you've got to hold on to the football. They've fumbled it 4 times in the first quarter. You've got to be able to hold it.
You can see these kids for Holland are young. You can see they're young by the way they're carrying the football, by the fundamentals that they've got. I mean, I've met many of the Dutch coaches when I had the pleasure of traveling through Holland, and I should really give a shout out to Wayne, who's I believe he's the head coach of the Crusaders, the guys with the red lids and the white face cages. Mm-hmm. I hope he's listening back home. I know they teach correct fundamentals like that. It's just an age thing. When you're that young, you're that inexperienced, in big moments like this, when you need to get back into the game, you tend to forget about ball security. You're just worried about making the play.
Another new quarterback, number 8, tries to throw it to the right, and it'll be 2nd and 10. But again, they're switching quarterbers.
Well, number 11's hurt. He seems to be down on the sideline at the moment. They've just pulled him back up to his feet. He's limping quite badly. So I think number 16. Sorry, I think that is an injury substitution.
Yeah, so he got knocked on that last play when he fumbled the ball. So we go back to Mulder, who was in earlier at the beginning of the game.
But this would be the ideal spot now. If you look at Great Britain, the way they're lined up, they're a little bit softer numbers in the middle. Holland should use that power back right down the middle.
And they do so.
Great play with a defensive tackle.
That's one place where Britain have dominated at the point of attack on the defensive line.
And 96, that's Jordan Morris. I know Jordan quite well. He's a Birmingham native. He's I believe he went to a training session or 2 with the Birmingham Bulls. Came up to a football university thing that you guys covered up in Stirling.
Yep.
He's got very, very little football experience. This will be his first ever game, I believe.
Not a bad first game to go into.
He's a monster. He's huge in the middle. They're going to really struggle to move him around. He showed there's power. Ball upright, stood upright, but you're not going to move him around.
And it'll be shotgun pass once more. He's looking left, now he looks right. He's got a man open up the middle. He goes to the right corner. Only had him.
That's where the sun helped us again, I think.
The sun causing major problems on 4th down, but it was a good awareness there. He looked the safety off to the left, gave himself a man, saw the people coming across the middle and threw it to where the coverage was leaving. It was a great read by the quarterback.
And I think that's going to be Holland's best tactic now to get back in the game, is to keep power in the middle and then look for these shots standing outside. I think they're getting the good matchups. They do seem quick on the outside. As with anything, defending a deep pass, if you're not used to it, is one of the toughest things to do.
As Great Britain come out in their usual formation of pistol, 2 receivers each side. And it's going to be a run up the middle by the quarterback. Didn't seem to be on there, and the Dutch Lions stuffed it for a loss.
So don't forget, if you missed the first half of this game or you missed parts of the first half, we will be making this game available online via our YouTube channel. So if you go onto YouTube Go on just now if you like, but of course I won't be ready. Go search for Gridiron TV, click subscribe, and then as soon as we have the coverage from today's game available, you'll get a little email to say that it's there. You can go on and watch it as many times as you like.
And it's another run. Can't see. Oh, that's a fumble. And
I believe that was a forward pass. I think the ball got back to the line of scrimmage. Interesting to see them look to pass the ball on second down here. With a nice comfortable lead now, I think maybe they just look to run it out a little bit, use the tough inside running of Akindele, the big offensive line they've got. The advantage that the Dutch junior line, defensive line had in the first half with the speed advantage. Now the big bodies of that Great Britain offensive line beating on them every single play will start to wear them down. In the end of the third, beginning of the fourth quarter, that's where they really want to start turning the screw and running the ball on them. Definitely. A lot of inside power running plays.
Definitely is. It's now 3rd and 12. Clancy drops back. He's going to pass again. He's looking to his right and didn't have a man open.
That looked like a miscommunication there. That looked like Tom was expecting the receiver to run a comeback because the coverage was backed off a little bit, and the receiver looked like he was trying to take the top off the defense.
And there was a flag on the play on the left as well. And it's an encroachment, so it'll be 3rd and 7.
Look how deep the safety is. He's coming forward now. I think he was getting ready for the punt.
Yeah.
They're expecting the punt. There's a penalty. So they haven't got the right person out there because number 80 isn't a safety.
Certainly doesn't look that way. But again, they're getting right up. They're playing press on the outside. They're challenging these receivers. One step from the quarterback, put it up on a short little fade.
And the thing is, they might need those. They might need those timeouts, so they weren't going to call timeout.
And I think we've got what we're looking for. I think they've kept running that inside post because the coaches have obviously seen something that we haven't, which is they're playing very physical, but they're playing too physical, the Dutch defensive back. So they're maintaining impact and contact with the receiver downfield, which is drawing the flag. I think the sideline were asking for that a couple of plays back, so I think they went back to the same play to try and force the issue.
Let's see what the flag is.
And if they get the first,
they're
waving the flag off.
So it will be a punt.
And they've said that the pass wasn't catchable, so they've waved the flag off.
Yeah,
I think that's a
reasonable call.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable call.
So anyone new to football, if he picks the flag up and waves it in the air like that, they've basically decided it wasn't actually a penalty after all.
And now the returner can do his real duty of returning the ball rather than playing safety.
Yep.
Although he might be a safety.
And this is where we need a good snap. I mean, we lost a little bit of momentum on that drive. We need a good snap here, a good punt.
It was a good snap, but the punt straight off the side of the foot.
I got to stop talking about special teams, haven't I?
So off the side of a foot for a short kick, which will result in a turnover on possession.
And it's going to be good territory for the Dutch. Looking to get back in it. They're 2 scores down now, and their offense has got to go out there and get a score on this drive. You feel?
I think so. I don't think it's time to panic yet if you're the Dutch. I think they can stick with their run game. I think that's ultimately what's going to get them back in the game. I think if they keep that pounder on that they had, keep trying to run the middle a little bit. They have made a switch up at running back, but he still looks fairly stocky in build, like he could run the middle successfully. But I think that's what they need to do. We're too good on the outside for them.
It's going to be a pass first, and as they had the slant open, he's beat one, and the tackle is there from number 37, Alosi Karoma, who had the interception for a touchdown earlier on.
I think Kiddel's got to watch it at this point. Kiddel's very quick off the edge, he's very quick to the quarterback, but he's pushed the quarterback to the ground there after the play, after the pass has been thrown, and he'll have to watch it there. The referee wasn't looking at that particular time, but that's a cheap penalty to give away. He's got to be careful there on the outside.
Especially with a short field that's 15 yards, you can't afford to give up.
Exactly. But it surprises me that they're not using the running back on passing plays on the side of Caddell. He's causing them a lot of trouble off the edge, 56, and Holland haven't adjusted to try and block him. They're just trying to hurry themselves up and get the ball off quicker.
Definitely, you send the running back to at least chip him.
one really left to make the tackle in the middle. I mean, Great Britain do a great job of getting bodies to the ball. They're very quick, but you may be taking too many gambles. They're blitzing at that point. When we're so good against this front, I'm not sure we need to blitz.
And it'll be a punt. Although in this kind of territory, you've got to be expecting the fake punt at this level.
Exactly. They need to get back in the game, don't they?
Watch for number 14. I reckon there's a chance he could get the snap. Nope, they're going to go with it.
Nope, they are going to run the fake.
And that's well covered by Great Britain. Number 42 is over there, Nasser Eddin Al-Sayed.
And great job. Was it 27 or 77 that came up to fill the gap there?
77, Alistair Wilcox.
That was a great job making us fill inside.
And that's going to give Great Britain great field position to add another touchdown, maybe take some time off the clock as well in this third quarter.
And it looks like they've taken Wedderburn off the field and they've changed some of the receivers out. It looks like the receivers they're using in the first half doesn't look like all of them come out in the second half. So it looks like they're doing a good job of making sure to get players in. 45, that was such a weapon for Great Britain in the first half, doesn't even have his shoulder pads on at the moment on the sideline, so I'm hoping he's not too seriously hurt as he did such a good job in the first half.
As that's 47, Troy Jones with the carry, but that's good defence there by the Dutch line. And again, at this level, it's all about getting everyone a game, because you want to represent Great Britain, but you want to give everyone a snap. Everyone gets their snaps, everyone gets their play, especially developing at under 19 level.
And that's the key word, isn't it? It's development. It's whilst we want to be successful at this level, we're trying to breed good players for our national program at adult level. And Damien understands that, and he understands his role within the national program and what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing a fantastic job.
And it's trips to the quarterback right now. And he'll hand off up the middle. Looks like there's some room to carry, and he keeps those legs moving.
Run.
That's a great run from the running back there. That is number 44, Dwight Colker. Saw a lot of carries in the first half. It's his first in the second half.
And sometimes it helps you to be a little bit small as a running back when you've got such a big offensive line in front of you, because the Dutch kids just won't see him.
Exactly. It's about deceiving where they are on the field. And he's running hard as well. He took 2 or 3 with him on the last carry. And you can see they're starting to bunch up in the middle again with these runs up the middle.
And that'll be the offensive coordinator's game plan. He's trying to pull these guys in, trying to make them bunch a little bit.
And that's a great read by the outside linebacker there.
And that looked like the game plan. Try and get Tom to the outside and make a pass after bunching him up. But as you said, I mean, the Dutch team looked like they put 5 guys on the line there and were ready for it.
That was number 36, Jens Ajema.
I'm glad you're doing that. And not
yes, with the tackle. And that was a great read, just straight for the quarterback. Didn't bite the fake, which is what makes that play, and forces a punt.
Something I've been really impressed with from the Dutch team is the play of the guys in press coverage. They're not afraid to isolate these guys, stick them up in press coverage, and they're doing a great job of slowing our guys down at the line of scrimmage.
He'll be Shavildo van Omerman to return the punt. Well, he'll not return that one because that's the second one.
You can see it may be that he's getting a little bit, he's one of the kids got up before 5 o'clock this morning to catch the bus here. He's been taken off the field as a receiver the second half, probably get other people's reps. So he's just going to be stood on the sideline getting cold, which will make it difficult, certainly for a punter to come in and execute the play properly. As
we are entering the fourth quarter here at Gateshead Stadium, here in this international game between the Great British Lions under-19s and the Dutch Lion under-19s. The score is 28-14 to Great Britain. And here come the Dutch. And we've got an unmarked receiver in the slot. We've moved out a little bit late to cover it, but we have moved out. Something we've been seeing a lot from Great Britain, late substitutions. And the run up the middle, he's kept his legs moving, and that's a good run from the Dutch running back. I think this needs to be the game plan now. I mean, 38's had a good carry in the third quarter for good yardage. They need to be patient with him, let him move up the field, take the shots when they need to. As they're coming out in trips to the right again. Again, the linebacker's just leaving him. He's free now.
We've not got anyone on a slot receiver again.
No. And it's a quick
And
pass
this is-
straight to him. Poor throw. He had it wide open.
And we're lucky though. GB got away with that one. You can see Scott Rowe now on the sideline trying to scream in the instructions. And this is where teams, as I said, sometimes it's easier to get the defense ready for these type of things than it is the offense, because, like I said, a 4-3 is a 4-3 and a 3-4 is a 3-4. But it's how you adjust to the different formations when you see something a little bit unusual, like trips, like 4 receivers to one side. That's when you can catch teams off guard a little bit. And we're there again. We're not pulling someone out. It seems to be the tactic for Great Britain. Leave him a little bit uncovered.
And it's a run to the right. It'll be 3rd and 10 now. But if he runs a streak there and the quarterback wheels it straight away, he's got a chance to go.
I think maybe 2 short hooks on the outside and some kind of corner right, get him over the top of the coverage because we're quite tight down on the other 2 guys.
So anyone watching at home, apologies for that slight glitch. It looks like there's still some water left over from the downpours I've had the last couple of days. We've managed to just whisk it away from the cable, so hopefully we're good to go now.
As the Dutch
And this is what we've got to worry about here, is if we get a corner right from I think it's 88 in the slot here, he could be open behind our coverage. We're lucky at the moment this quarterback isn't stepping into his passes.
That's what we saw at the other end, that the light saved us in that corner end zone.
Yeah.
He was wide open there, and it's the same receiver who can get around. It was a wheel route that time, and that's something else you've got to look for, a wheel route, especially from that fake screen if they decide to pump fake that. As it's 4th down and 10.
I mean, they've certainly got the personnel matchup, and you'd expect them to keep coming back to the slot receiver. If they're pulling a bigger linebacker out to cover him, you'd expect them to keep coming back to that.
And we've seen the same again from Great Britain.
We've got 2 safeties high with Lewis and number 95, but they're not. He's widened now at the snap.
And they're going to the short side. It's in a double coverage, and that ball seemed to just go up and then stop in the air. It wasn't going forward at all. And it'll be a turnover on downs. That's one problem the Dutch have had, is the quarterbacks have struggled to make those deep throws.
Yeah, the Great Britain defensive front has done a great job of not allowing that QB to step into his passes. And the quarterback using the moment is a little bit short. Our defensive front's quite tall. That'll help us. That'll be to our advantage. I'm a little bit surprised to see them go for it on 4th down there so early.
And a new quarterback in for Great Britain, Callum Davidson, getting his snaps now with a 2-score lead.
Now, is Callum one of Wayne's guys, the Birmingham Lions?
I do believe so, looking at his helmet.
Looks a lot like Tristan Varney.
And that's good moves there. And he gets close to a 1st down.
I know that Wayne, and if he is indeed a Birmingham Lion guy, I know that Wayne and their coaching staff down there pride themselves on being quarterback universities, they call themselves down there, which is really good. And you can see the production line that they've had of great quarterbacks over the years. And it can only be good for junior football if he's producing quarterbacks and come through and play at this level as well.
Well, we were at the national final this year, and when Tristan Varney was injured, and the backup quarterback was just as prepared, and he led 2 touchdown drives within 8 minutes at the end to win the game.
It's a brilliant program. It's a top program.
And that's a good for. He's looking at Gill. He's got good movement as Carl Davison. He's going to run it. He's got open for a first down and out of bounds. That's sensible quarterback play. Get out of bounds so they don't hit you.
Indeed. Live to fight another day. But great to have a quarterback who can run, who can pass, who can move about and move and change himself.
Yeah, he looks like he knows what he's doing there. He felt the pressure coming from the backside, turned out of it, and immediately saw that he can get a first down, get out of bounds. Be interesting to see him throw the ball if it gets to that. And it's 1st and 10. He's going to throw it now.
And we speed the tempo of our play calling up a little bit as well. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that as well. I don't know if it's been a conscious decision, but we've actually sped the tempo of our play calling up a little bit the last couple of seconds. We look to be trying to catch them on the hop a little.
And that's good to show your faith in your quarterback to run this up-tempo offense when you've just come into the game. And it'll be Davison to take the snap.
Akindele's in the field again. I'm surprised we haven't run the middle a little bit.
It's a pass deep to the right. And it's an interception.
Hard luck.
And he's kept in bounds. No,
out of bounds.
And
I think that's one of Wayne's guys. They're going from Holland, the Crusaders.
That's a
I
great
believe they're in the
interception.
national final this year in Holland, the Crusaders. I think they lost, but it was a great showing.
Yeah.
He went up to get the ball, is what we talked about earlier, and he got that interception. And it was a good throw, deep throw, but just slightly too much.
It's tough for a quarterback to come in cold this late in the game and try and throw this early on. You know, he would have had a chance to warm up on the sideline a little bit, but you know, he's not been. I don't think he's been one of the guys in rotation to this point. So to come in cold this late in the game, you know, that's asking a lot of a kid to complete a deep pass as his first pass. And he wasn't far away.
And the Dutch Lions will go back at it. And he's back.
It's the running quarterback again.
Running quarterback. He's got some room down the sideline. There's a out of
We've
bounds.
got a flag. Might be a holding. Might be a block in the back from the Dutch Lions.
That's one thing with these long sweeping runs is the youngsters do sometimes get a bit over anxious to make a block and get the wrong side, make the block in the back.
Open field blocking is really tricky. Certainly as you said, when you're new to the sport and you're gaining experience, it's understanding where to make the block on the player. You know, there's such a fine line between blocking in the side and blocking in the back. And indeed, they've got them on a hold.
So as the Dutch try and get back into this game, the 2 scores down right now here at Gateshead. And they've got a long drive ahead of them as they're inside their own 20.
Yeah, sun just setting here, so there's an almost cloudless sky here. It's starting to chill down now, it's starting to cool down though.
After the wind from earlier, it's been a pleasant surprise the second half. It's been sunny with a clear sky and the wind's dropped dramatically. Although the teams playing tomorrow might not get the best of the weather as there's a storm coming in apparently.
No, of course.
You notice they've adjusted slightly differently now to the trips on that side. There's a wide open receiver though, but great play from the defensive front.
Great pressure, bring him down in the backfield for another sack.
It's a long way to see. We're right at the other end of the field from our vantage point, so we can't quite see the numbers unfortunately.
It looked like it might have been Connor Nicholson on the defensive line. Just looking for the socks that he had pulled up earlier on, it looked like it might have been Connor Nicholson.
And they're inside the 5 it looks like now. And this is great for Great Britain.
Yeah, number 94, it looked like it might have been Connor Nicholson, one of the defensive captains. Interesting they moved into end now instead of defensive tackle.
He's under centre. There's a handoff. He's beaten a couple of tackles and he's still kept those legs moving.
And with the field to play with, I mean, they've made some substitutions now in the defensive front. You've seen Cadell King's not in the front 4 anymore. They've got his backup in. It looks like they've made a couple of other changes in that front 6 as well. 54 looks like he's getting some game time there as well.
It's about getting everyone reps, as
exactly.
we said earlier.
And you know, in a crucial moment of the game, you know, the Dutch Junior Lions, although they're backed up, they're driving to try and get back in the game.
It'll be 3rd down and about 20, 30 maybe. So it's a long way to go for them here.
You'd expect GB to be a little bit soft with their coverage here, but they've got to be careful not to give up a short pass and space underneath.
And he's back in the pistol now, he's going to hand it off. And that's a great tackle there from the defence player there.
I think that's a very surprising call from the Dutch. I think that's being overly cautious with the field position, not wanting to give up an interception here. It does show a lack of faith in their quarterbacks as well, potentially at this point. We know that they've struggled passing into the wind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you would have thought they'd gone for it there, at least for a short or medium length pass. But yeah, not a lot of faith in the quarterback just there, almost resigning themselves to a punt.
And by spreading the team out like that, spreading Great Britain out with the trips on one side, they were creating a lot of spaces underneath.
Wedden's going to have a good chance to return this. That's a good punt from where they were.
So that punt will take the pressure off them, but still the GB Lions, great field position inside the Dutch half, a chance to go 3 scores ahead here if they can convert. Keep sending your messages in, we're still reading them out, don't worry. Facebook or Twitter at Gridiron_TV. Also had a couple of emails, particularly from parents watching their sons here, so good to see. You can email us at info@GridironTV.co.uk. And literally, as I say that, another two people emailing us. So
It's great to see they've stuck with Callum at quarterback. They've not pulled him off after that interception, realising it wasn't his fault coming off the bench like that.
Yeah, it's good field position. He's going to hand it off to Dwight Colker there. And good hard running. That's what we've seen from all the Great British running backs. Some good hard running up the middle. And there's a flag laid in. And a Dutch player on the floor. That could be a personal foul penalty.
Yep.
And the way the Great Britain guys are pulling one of their players back there may be on Great Britain.
And that's not what you need going back into 1st and 25 straight away.
No, I think it may be an offsetting penalty. It's good that it's good that they're staying with Callum at quarterback. It'd be nice to see them now maybe look to bring him into the game a little bit with some short passes. I think there's a lot of space inside.
So
exactly
we'll be
what you
first
said,
and 25.
1st and 25.
Yep.
And that's not what you want from a quarterback who's just throwing an interception. You don't want to put him in that scenario. That's where your teammates have got to help you out.
Yeah, and this is where I think either short passes or stay patient, run the football. We've got great field position. There's no need to punt if we're getting close to the first down mark. We could go for it on 4th down here, so stay patient with the game.
This half has been all Great Britain, and we said it early that if they get the momentum, they could push on and dominate the game, and that's what they've done in the second half.
And I know that no huddle offenses are all the fad at the moment, and in fact we run it at the Pride. I know that Stirling tomorrow, where you guys will be, they run a great no huddle system as well. It's interesting to see all the different techniques used to get the plays in. We're hand signals only. We try to vocalise the plays, get them called in, but really struggle when we played in Ireland against the Canadian team when the stadium was too loud, 2,500 people, they couldn't hear the signals coming in. Changed their hand signal system, it works brilliant. Great Britain are using a combination of the two. You've got one guy with a great loud voice shouting the plays in, another guy with hand signals as well. I know that many teams now are using this card system that Oregon used with the 4 pitches, and so it's great to see everyone trying to explore new things in British football.
And another thing is the risk coach system. If you've got a risk coach, everyone looks at a number, off you go.
And you'll notice a lot of the GB players are wearing those wrist coaches.
Yeah. That's another hand off to Colker up the middle. So it'll be 3rd and about 20 for Great Britain.
As you said, I think it's a lot to ask these kids to remember the plays, especially if they're relatively new to the sport.
Yeah.
I think the risk coach always helps them out.
Indeed.
Well, we saw it earlier on, the running backs looking at the quarterback's wrist coach and going through it before the play. And it'll be a punt here.
And I must say again that the coaching staff have done a great job with this team. They've not been making a lot of execution errors, not that we can see from up here anyway. They seem to be executing their plays quite well. It's just been a bit of a stalemate in the box, you know. Neither team particularly being able to establish dominance over the other. I'd hope to see Great Britain look to do that now late in this 4th quarter with the size of their offensive line.
And that's a fair catch, very, very deep. We should have maybe let that one go and taken the risk.
When you're that close to the end zone, let it bounce into the end zone, get the ball from the 20.
Indeed, possibly another sign of a lack of confidence. He wasn't willing to return that one. But
and again, a young team. This is where you want them to make the mistakes. You almost with a very young team, you just want them to go out, have a game, get it out of the way, make the mistakes, learn from it, watch the film on it, use it to teach them. Hopefully they don't use those mistakes again when you get to big important games.
Looking at the official on Saturday, as we're at the far end of the field, it looks like it's on the 1 yard line.
Again, a stupid thing to do, try and fair catch the ball on the 1, just let it go. And I'm sure he's been told that by his coaching staff now.
Even if it bounces 7 times onto the 1, there's nothing you can do about that, but he could have let it go.
I think it's a delay game.
It will
Either
be
that or illegal substitution, the guy's going out the back of the end zone.
So half the distance to the goal.
And this is where it may fall apart a little bit for the Dutch Lions. They've come a long way. I said earlier it was almost like the Great Britain team was the away team, sort of travelling up on the day of the game. But we can't forget the Dutch have travelled a long way. And it's a tough game. It's a long field in front of them. The 2 scores down. This is where their confidence may start to crumble a little bit. They've not had any success against our defence all day. You know, starting from this close, this would be where I expect maybe a safety from the Great Britain defence.
There's Fumble snap.
So we'll just take a mention to thank one of our sponsors who's supported us all season. It's Nuola. So as the weather closes in and as you guys get ready to play your season of football or university, whatever it is, visit nuola.co.uk. Have a look at their custom jerseys and some of their winter weather gear.
And it'll be another hand above the middle. Get a few yards from the end zone.
And they've had relative success running in the middle all day, so I'm surprised they haven't stuck with it a little bit more.
It'll be 3rd and short, so they have been moving the ball in this short series. As the wind starts to pick up again here at Gateshead.
Indeed, the floodlights are coming on, the wind's picking up, so a little bit of a fiery finish to this game.
I just noticed an ambulance pulled up actually at the side of the pitch, an additional ambulance, so I hope there's not anybody injured badly here.
And the quarterback gets away again and gets a 1st down. He's been very impressive when running the football today.
He has, yeah. They've not trusted him with many passes, but he looks like a legitimate athlete running the ball.
And it's something he can build on again. He's only 16 years old, so you can work on his technique and his throwing technique, but that athleticism, you can't teach that, and that's what's going to give him a step ahead.
And that's where just being, I think it's almost everybody's kind of responsibility within the game, certainly within this country, coaching these kids, is try and be brave, try and let these kids pass the ball a little bit more. Try and give them a chance to establish the passing game. It's not going to work all the time. There are going to be interceptions. I know that we've played in games with the pride, even at the level we play, where we can go 7 or 8 passes without completing a pass, and it is frustrating, but you have to stay with it, you have to be patient with it. It's the only way these kids are going to develop. I've been impressed with a lot of these Dutch junior lions as well. I think 56 with the gold lid's been very disruptive. I think the one of the safeties as well that's been playing sort of on the left hand side of the defence, I forget his number now off the top of my head.
Jack Shears
he's been very good, yeah. I think the guy, is it 47, 45 that caught the tough passes at the beginning of the game for Great Britain? I think he did very, very well. He's not played the second half, obviously injured. Tom Clancy threw the pass to Chris Wedderburn. That was a nice touch pass, but he did struggle to that point.
Also Carlos Taronga
again made a great play early on in the game. Not seen much in the second half, but then it's not probably been his fault. They've made some changes. They've wanted to get everybody a game, like you said. It's been a little bit disjointed the second half as well, with so many stoppages.
So it looks like we're about to get back underway here. It'll be 1st down and 10 for the Dutch Lions.
Of course, we can't overlook is it Aloysius, the London Blitz cornerback as well, who had the interception for a score.
Yeah.
Also nearly had another one later. He's been good solid tackler for the team as well.
Broken up a few tackles, and that's a great tackle there.
And that was probably the pivotal play in the game, really. That interception for a touchdown probably put the icing on the cake and took it out of their reach.
It's Cadel King again there with the tackle in the backfield. And it's 2nd and 20 now.
And that was on the opposite side to which he started from as well, I think.
We look at the team, this defence has given up 0 points today, so the MVP surely has to come from this defence.
Yeah, so I think you're looking between those three really. I think you're looking at, is it Aloysius at cornerback, Will Crowfoot and Cadell.
As the Dutch Lions under centre again, the quarterback's going to run it to the right. He's got some room down the outside, but great play from the Great British Lions to force him the outside. He didn't have room to cut it back inside.
I think 6 guys are in the ball, which is great hustle. This late in the game as well, when you think maybe they're just switching off a little bit, still to be hustling like that, not wanting to give up any points, not wanting to give up the first downs. In fact, I can't, if the Dutch Lions got a first down in the second half that wasn't a penalty.
It's the fact that we have to think about it means that it shows how difficult it's been for them.
And a 2-minute warning, so 2 minutes left in this game, this international game between the Great Lions and the Dutch Lions. And it'll be about restoring pride now for the Dutch on 3rd and 25.
And I don't think we're going to see him pass again. I think they've bunched everything up a little bit. I think they're just going to try and run themselves out of trouble.
Under centre again. You can see
high formation again.
The Great British defence is a lot more comfortable.
They are looking to pass, but not enough players out in rights.
That's a good.
Great coverage.
He's got a good arm strength there, but
He has. It makes you wonder why they haven't taken shots early on in the game. I think there's Aloysius again, 37 with the coverage.
Yeah.
27 maybe.
The receiver cut inside on that one. That's Yannick van Osnabrück here. Took it inside when you probably would have looked to get an outside release.
Yeah.
And it'll be 4th down and 25, so we've got to expect a punt here, even though it's late in the game. And it will be a punt.
Very late substitution from the Dutch Lions. Like I said, concentration probably slipping away from them a little bit this late in the game. They've realised the game's beyond their reach now.
And the punt is off.
Not a particularly good punt either.
And
Good GV bounce.
And that could probably kill the game as the starting quarterback Tom Clancy comes out once. That's not Tom Clancy. What am I talking about? That's a wide receiver.
That's Callum back in at quarterback.
Davison back in. And you've got to expect, even with...
I think maybe a run up the middle with Tunde and then nail the game out. I don't think the Dutch Lions have got any timeouts left. I don't think it's the right thing to try and put another score on the board this late in the game.
The thing I'm thinking is that they've come in the 4th quarter. This is their first size. Maybe you want to give them play, or maybe you want to give them run and QB kneel.
I think that's the right thing to do. Just run the middle.
Yep, that is Tunde Akindele again.
You certainly don't want to seem disrespectful to a team that's paid to come over and play you in a friendly game. And
that's the balance. Say if the ball had been down here and they were going that way
Absolutely.
from 80 yards, you let them play for a bit and then run it as you get down the field.
But I think Coach Anderson's got to be delighted the way his team's reacted to getting up late today, to getting to the game late. They've responded really well. They've stayed calm, as we said earlier. They didn't have the best of starts. They looked like maybe they missed opportunities early. The Dutch Junior Lions take the lead and answer back again straight away to take the lead again. But they've stuck with it. They've kept with the game plan. You've got to give the coaching staff a massive pat on the back for that. But also these young kids as well. They've stayed patient where they possibly could have lost their cool.
Especially in the second half, those half-time adjustments seem to have...
Six guys to take him down.
And that is 4th down. And you've got to expect the clock may run out soon.
They can take the time getting lined up here.
So we've got to decide on an MVP now.
I think you're right. I think it should come from the defence. I think I think for me it's probably Crowfoot, or is it Aloysius, the guy that got the interception. I think that was a pivotal point of the game.
Yeah, I would agree with Aloysius Karoma.
Well, we'll announce our MVP. Congratulations right at the end of the game. So congratulations to the Great Britain Lions, who come out victorious in this international game, winning fairly comfortably towards the end. And congratulations to Aloysius Karoma, who is our MVP. Now, guys, let's summarise this here before we go down, and we'll be able to get some interviews from the head coaches and some of the other guys as well. So what are the key points for you for this game?
It was just the offence, the offence and defence of Great Britain. I'll say defence mostly. The defence unit played so well early on. They were against an I formation and they controlled it well in the middle. Point of attack was all Great Britain. Second half, when they started going out into the pista, it was a bit difficult for them. They were leaving some chances for the Dutch, but again they stepped on it. They got there eventually, and it's a shutout essentially for the defence.
And it is, and I think the biggest point for me is just the age of this team. There's an awful lot of very young kids out there for both teams, but for Great Britain, he's got to be delighted. That's a lot to build on. That's a young team that's going to grow together. Now the important thing is the coach Anderson gets the support from all the coaches around the country, that maybe they take the trip out to go and get involved with one of these training camps he holds up and down the country, where he does allow other coaches to get involved, come and watch and see the techniques they're coaching. Because I think it's important that we try to be consistent, and we're helping him by using those techniques up and down the country, that we're asking him what he wants, that we're supporting him, that we're trying to get the players at Great Britain, playing it at the club teams where he wants them to be playing for Great Britain.
And for the visitors, they've made the trip across. There is talent there. There's a lot of talent, especially in the skill positions, the wide receivers, and that the number 16 quarterback. He does have the athletic ability, and you can see that in some of them.
And those corners as well, to leave him in press and just isolated so long throughout the game, and yet, you know, I mean, I know we got the score to Wedderburn, but other than that, they really did do a fantastic job. Those corners are just locking down the opponents, and I mean, that's again, they all look like young kids. That's got to be really a confidence booster for these guys. I mean, I've been lucky enough that some of the guys I coached on Team Europe, they showed me game footage of Austria versus Germany, so I know what these guys are aiming to be. You know, the two best teams in Europe at the moment, in Austria and Germany, and they're not a million miles behind. Size-wise, we don't match up at the moment, but that's something to aim for. But technique and certainly heart and hustle, we're not a million miles behind.
As you say, it's all about development, and we've seen some great development today. Everyone's got some snaps, everyone's played a bit, and that's big for the coaching staff to get all the players out there, and all these guys who have travelled up from Bristol, from London, down from Scotland. It's a great day out for them as well, and even though it was a trouble getting here, the kick-off delayed for 45 minutes because of some delays from down south, and they did well to perform on the day.
Yeah, and it is really difficult to for the Dutch Junior Alliance to really kind of take a lot of confidence from this, because it was a defeat. But the way in which they played, I think the coaching staff can be really happy with them. I think that as well, that defensive unit, they were very good. They were really good. That secondaries played hard, they played fast. I would like to see them maybe look to give them a little bit of support, maybe play a little bit of zone later on as they develop a bit.
And a few of these guys will be off to play university football now, and this is a good way to send off. They've learned from some of the best coaches in Britain, and they can go off and take it to their universities, and hopefully we'll see the talent in the University Bowl this year.
And I hope that the universities do take note there's a lot of talent in junior football in this country, and maybe they do go out and they try and push for scholarships within the university. I know some are starting to offer that now, and maybe get involved in junior football like Wayne Hill has done with Birmingham. I know the Bristol Bullets, who are probably an outside chance to do very well this year, and Rob Hall with Stirling, they take a lot of notice of what's going on in junior football. They do a lot of recruiting from there, and it's no coincidence those are the best teams in the country at university level.
So we're joined here post-game. Coach, how did that second half go for you?
It's difficult with the rookies and the lineup mistakes. We had difficulties. Try to coach the rookies up, but as expected, we went in as an underdog, and we were the underdog. Our youngest QB was 15 years old, his first 11 game ever, and he was doing great. So I'm proud.
What kind of things are you going to go and say to the guys just now to talk to them? First, we're gonna say goodbye to the 19-year-old players. A couple of them played today the last game, and give a thumbs up to the young guys who are playing a first game. And remember, a lot of those players are playing 7-7 in Holland. So 11 game is different. That's why we need those this kind of practice games. We had a lot of messages all day from people back home wishing support for the team, saying hi to their family and friends. So what message do you take back home to the fans?
It was a great boat ride in. We're going to have a little party tonight. We're going to have a nice day tomorrow and a party on the boat back, because the Lion brothers, and we are a brotherhood who play football, are there for them, for together, and we are trying to get the brotherhood alive for next year. This was our first step to next year, where we are going to do qualifications again. That's why we have a lot of young players.
Well, thanks very much for joining us, coach, and have a safe trip back.
Bye bye.
Commiserations. Can you introduce yourself to everyone at home?
Yes, I'm Adion. I'm 15 years old.
Yep. So we saw you playing today. You had quite a good game in different parts. What was today like for you playing?
It was wonderful, man. It was my first game against 11-11, and I did my best. And yes, definitely showed us.
So how do you feel about being able to travel to a different country, come over here to the UK to play these guys that you've not seen before?
It's awesome. It's awesome. I always want to travel and stuff. It's just cool.
Yeah. So I mean, even now we can see the rest of your teammates now. They still look like quite happy. There's some guys that'll be leaving the team now, and 19 years old. So I mean, are you going to miss these guys when they go?
Yeah. I practiced like 3 times or 4 times, and I'm going to miss them already. It's the first game for me. I'm going to miss them already. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully you've got a good few years ahead of you with the team. Good luck for your next game too.
Thank you.
How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, real good actually. Yeah, real good. It was a great win for the team, really. Essentially, you know, it was a friendly to find out what we had, and I think the guys proved that they can play some football. So yeah, really
absolutely. Did show it in all different aspects of the game. They held their head up, especially in the second half. They stayed composed and they were able to continue pushing, continue driving the ball.
Yeah, I mean that was it. I mean, you know, we were a little bit rushed when we came out at the beginning, and I think that showed there was a few drop balls, a few silly penalties. But essentially, like you say, in the second half we were able to focus, get down and yeah, carry on scoring, which is always good.
Oh, definitely. So what are the next steps for the team now? What do you need to do as a coaching staff?
Well, we graduate about a third of the team, but that leaves us 2/3 of the guys still around. 20 next year is a tournament year. So essentially this friendly sets us up now to be able to, you know, start finding what we need for the rest of the guys, and then move it on from there, really. I think November the 15th is the date where they announce where the tournament's going to be played, and then we move on from there. Yeah.
So you're hoping to get the guys riding this momentum here from their success and take it into the next step.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's about. You know, this whole year has been a process of basically just trying to rebuild our team, because we lost about 2/3 of it previously, and then yeah, we just carried on from there, really.
Well, congratulations. You can go away and celebrate now, Coach. Have a good night. Well, congratulations. How do you feel right now?
I feel very great because I just played for my country, and I'm very proud of myself for getting a pick 6 into the end zone.
Yes. How do the guys feel going into this game, going through the training camp previously and now coming together as a team to face the Dutch side?
Everyone feels great because obviously this team was a hard team, and we just played our heart out, and we're happy to get that W.
Yeah, we could see a lot of the guys in the background cheering on and celebrating. This is going to be a good night for you guys, isn't it?
It is going to be a good night. I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy.
Okay, well, congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
So that just about does it here. So once again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to everyone working behind the scenes here at Gridiron TV. Stay tuned for our next announcement for where we're going to be live. Of course, we've got university football coming up next, so a lot of big matches coming up. We're no doubt going to have an amazing football season going through the winter. So from myself, Alan Price, from Stuart Dick, from Damien, who's on the camera right now, and from Stuart and everyone else on the team, thanks very much for joining us on Gridiron TV, and we'll see you next time.